Stayed in your PJs if you didn't have this.
No. Since it's zooming, I hadn't, and these are whatever, I have to look decent.
So
This is the planning board meeting for February 12. We'll call the meeting to order with a roll call, please.
Mike Coppell, member.
Rob Wilson, member.
John Panicella, alternate.
Bill Spence, member.
Catherine Brennan, member.
Morgan Dean, member.
Alan Bergo, alternate.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Seat this gentleman and Alan.
You can't
Now-
replace
You can't
Rich.
replace Rich.
I can't replace him,
Right, so you can seat one to get us to 6.
but he's not here.
Only a select board member can step in for another.
So you
select
can
board
see
member.
John for John.
Mhm,
Racine.
right,
I just did that.
yeah,
Oh,
and
okay.
that's it.
John for John,
Okay.
but I can't do anything about Rich. He's not here.
We can't do anything about Rich anyway.
I can always do something about Rich, but
No. Okay, right.
yes, he is my friend. That's not planning board business, so I'll have to leave it right now at 6 voters.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yes, it is. 4 is all we need for a quorum.
Nancy's on Zoom.
Hello, Nancy.
Hi, I'm having a little trouble getting on the network here at the hotel. But hi.
Yeah, we know Nancy's there.
There.
All right, minutes. The minutes of January 8th. Oh, 8, where are you? Okay, I have 13, I have 22, where's 8?
You need 8.
Does it really matter? I don't think so. One exception that I would at least when it's noted who is present. Morgan Deem is the secretary. So I would you have the vice chair, and I would like Morgan to be, her position needs to be stated.
On all 3, right, or going forward, right?
Yes, it's Chair Bill Spence, Vice Chair Catherine Brennan.
It was somewhere I had it in there and I think.
And it should be Secretary Morgan Deem.
I mean, I'm not offended, so.
Well, I'll add it in.
I'm looking out for you, Madam Secretary.
I move to accept the minutes of January 8th as amended.
Second.
All in favor? Passed. Moving on to the minutes of the 13th.
Was Mark there? And then also on line 16, if we members absent would be 0 if, but I don't know if, or Margaret, like, I don't know if she was there on this.
I wasn't. Was trying really
Right.
weird and what.
Yeah. James, John.
Yeah, and members absent, there's nothing there.
So Margaret is not there. In my.
Margaret's on now.
Okay, so then should she be under members absent or?
Alternate.
So was Margaret there?
Margaret's on Zoom.
Margaret.
Hello, Margaret, can you hear us?
113 is the public hearing.
I don't know if she was there. It was January 13th. Was she in, you have rehearsals and stuff?
Bill, Cass,
Margaret?
Rob, Mike, John, and Morgan.
No, we can't hear Margaret.
Did you have her written down, Morgan?
There's
There's
Margaret.
Margaret. Hello, Margaret.
Put her
Hi,
down.
13th of December or
January.
I don't think I was there.
I'll put you as absent.
Okay.
Thank you.
And then, so just, I don't know, for consistency, so Rich is under members of the public, but in another, meeting, we had Rich listed as a member, but then in parentheses, we said recused. So I don't know if, does he move up and then we just put recused or
do
just
that
leave it
when
there?
he- his States that he recused himself, and in that one he did.
He never.
Okay,
He never said it, he never did it, he just was here, so.
okay,
If he
I
says
mean-
he recused himself, I write
Because
it.
it was
If he doesn't, I just
exclusively.
put him over here.
okay. And is that how,
That's
That's not-
according to what's in the recording.
Sorry, I was trying to.
so
Yeah.
like how the roll call goes, like when we did the roll call, because since he wasn't sitting up here, he never
Right, he never
answered, so,
called, he
okay.
never recused
Got it.
himself, he just put himself over there.
Got it, okay.
So that's how I
I
handled
mean, it
that.
was a continuation. No, that's
I
the
mean, I'm
point.
happy to handle it however.
Yeah.
Want, I just, that's in my logical brain, that's how I.
No, I mean, that makes sense that he wasn't part of the, I just did, because in another spot it said that he was
Yeah.
there, but then he recused him and on the 22nd.
'Cause sometimes he does, and
Yeah. And then on lines, we can go to I hate to jump around, but 50, back to the motions, like, so we have the vote, it's being 5-0, but should it be
It
6?
should be.
6-0.
That's what I was about to, yes.
Okay, that was the only thing I had for the.
They're both of them.
13th. They should be.
There should be 6 instead of 5.
That was the only thing I had on that one.
I move we accept it as amended.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, passed. Okay, minutes of the 22nd.
Mhm. Minor, but on line 33, should it read, the applicant shall admit an as-built plan
Correct.
instead of on?
Yeah, that's all.
Yep,
there was a lot of writing in these minutes.
Yeah.
And,
telling me.
and then once everybody's, okay, I have stuff on the next page, but.
Yep.
I just keep jumping ahead, or do people want to?
I think you're good.
Okay, so line 58, so can we just, it says, you know, and amended with the board determining minor adjustments, can we just, put in like, it's the select board, is it the planning board, you know, just the. little
Which board?
Acronym, yeah.
Oh, maybe.
I don't know.
Well, except it has to be this board, because it's our minutes.
So SB or.
You want it to say-
That's the assumption, but
Okay, right, just,
Typically, I state planning board at the very
Okay.
beginning, and then I just do board, so I don't have to write planning board over
Okay.
and over, but if I'm having to write planning board, that's fine.
okay.
well, welcome to the X.
I just
Um,
want to plug in and be a co-host so I can do a share screen. You want me? I just need the.
I don't know about you, but I a lot of it, I didn't see anything else.
Well, if we could kind of talk about the approval expiration, just to make sure everyone's cool with that, if I would ask that, let's have everybody read it themselves. So line 73 to 79, because we did change it
I mean,
from 3 to 5 years, which it says reduce, you know, just, I don't know if it can be
Yes.
written a little better. I don't.
We did change it from 3 to 5.
Right, which is denoted on line 7, then it says amended to reduce the term from 5 years to 3 years, so
Yeah.
50% has not been commenced. But so it says commenced with 5 years from the date of the approval. That makes it sound like that's what it is in the law or something like that, which I guess, you know,
No, I don't think it says that.
I mean, I don't know, it makes sense because I would read it as the site plan approval expiration, if substantial construction isn't done or 50% done, has not commenced within 3 years from the date of this approval. That's the condition that we're putting on it.
Right,
But
but I think that's correct. I don't remember exactly, but I remember reading that
Amended.
it's in the RSA 5 years.
Is it,
So. all of
Liz, do you
this-
know?
what's that?
We're talking about the time period from the time of approval that the construction must be finished within 5 years. or at least has not commenced within 5 years.
Oh,
I think that's RSA, but we amended it to say 3.
And it is noted at the bottom of that.
Right, but it's not the, is it stated in the RSA as 5 or no? I didn't think. Cause I remember.
They are.
Believe it is off the top of my head.
I think it is.
Somebody's car.
It's not mine, I walked.
So the way that I approached all of these was, Morgan read every single one.
Yep.
And then you guys talked about them and then what you guys changed, I just tried to put it in there. So whatever this
Okay.
part, that's what was said out loud.
Okay.
And then the little discussion of what you guys decided to change. at the
And
end.
usually that is the case. I know that the rules are that you must report it as stated on the video.
Yeah. So that's.
In other words, a motion cannot be amended because we don't like the way it was written or said when it appears in writing.
These ones,
I've had that problem before.
these ones weren't the motions, this is when Morgan read each one out. And then you guys discussed them all. And then made changes as appropriate when you wanted, and then you made motions.
Yeah, but we got all kinds of wacky discussions.
So I mean, I can change it however, that's just the way I approached these ones.
Can I ask a quick question? Of the board members sitting here, how many of us have read through this whole thing? Because honestly, it
zero.
went to my junk and I didn't get to it till last night and this morning. So I have not completely read this, so I'm not comfortable in voting on it because it is so, I would like
Detail.
detail.
good
Yeah,
point.
and it has, so I know Mike said he read it.
I read it, but only once.
Okay, anybody else has read it?
I read it.
Cover to cover?
Could
I
I make a
read it.
No,
suggestion?
so
Yeah.
can we table it, this particular one?
We can't do
You
that.
could simply say that you have approved the notice of decision and all of this is laid out, notice of decision, full stop. You don't have to say any of this.
But I think that for somebody though, that is gonna look, a member of the public will go and look at the meetings, it should be reflected accurately. And then now they'd have to cross-reference, like, I don't know.
This is included, these are all in a notice of decision.
Yeah.
Yes, they'd have to get the notice of decision, but that will avoid having two different versions potentially. The notice of decision is all that matters, right?
Yes,
Finally.
but I think that this is consistent with the notice of decision.
Right, so attach the notice of decision to this.
And then stop.
I don't know, I feel comfortable just tabling it till, that's my personal opinion, because I truly have not had a chance to finish reading it, and I was trying to. I don't know what happened with my email, but stuff gets sent to junk.
Are you
Okay.
comfortable with just,
Can't we table this till March? It's not,
I
is it that big of a deal? I mean, the select board tables it all the time.
but understand what Rich
Yeah,
said, which basically makes it simple, which is the notice of decision ultimately is what would rule, and we can just basically say
See
the
notice.
minutes attach the notice of and the notice of decision and delete all this and say it's as applied to the notice.
Well, because a motion was made for each of them, I did have to grab all the motions, because we made a motion for each condition in there.
That's what I think is the condition, that the basis of writing minutes is to write the motion exactly as it was stated on the video.
Yeah, but that's, so,
So I don't
know
have
there
it,
was a lot, it was a long video, and because each things were read out, I didn't wanna just.
you have a comment.
Yeah, I agree with Kathy, and especially given that Kathy is definitely the most detail oriented of us. I'd feel better just that she had the time and feel comfortable with it, and I agree, who cares if we just
I
push
will
that
we
March.
table these minutes till the March meeting.
Second.
Okay, we're gonna amend that by saying that the minutes can be augmented by attaching the notice of decision.
In addition to this, okay.
Yeah, in addition to the minutes, to attach the notice of decision.
I agree.
And we should vote on the motion.
Yes. Did we have a second?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Done.
Like, everyone read this.
Let's see.
It should be the people who actually
We're there.
proceeded for that meeting. The vote should just be whatever those are. So 1, 2, 3, 4.
So Bill, Catherine, Mike,
Should be 5.
Rob, Morgan,
Everyone else seated should abstain. Be not
So
my
it's-
minutes.
us minus you three, and we all said yes.
And this-
Okay, with the
So
exception then of
we're
those
at the meet,
of
like
John
we were
who seated,
for the meeting.
Okay.
let's then you're saying
I
that,
abstain. I
understand that,
wasn't here for that.
but you're telling me that the minutes should be voted on only by those people who were present.
It's their minutes.
Stay a minute.
Mhm. Yes.
If you weren't there, you can't vote on it. You don't know what it said,
Fair enough.
but that's.
Thank you for indulging me.
I mean,
Some
Kathy,
lawyer
you
made
made
something.
questions about where, you know, how, just somebody
Somebody's
called me or
doing
something.
Right.
These ones were complicated. And I wasn't at the meeting, so it was a.
Oh.
Next on the agenda is a discussion of the zoning amendment explanation sheet. Can we put it on the screen?
Because we don't have it.
Well, then it must go on the screen.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the purpose of doing this is to be able to give the voters who,
Now, this is going to be sent to the wigwag.
yeah, that's a good suggestion.
Well, I'm just I
And there's no reason not to, because we just want something's going on here with the camera.
I want to be able to sit here with the screen, but then all people can see what we.
well,
We
we
don't want-
like seeing you.
See the back of your head? Yeah.
I'm putting these side by side. On the left-hand side are the warrant articles, and on the right-hand side, is the explanation sheet. I'll pull up the explanation sheet full screen. But I just wanted to run through these. So the first, warrant article is to add the provision stating that the ordinance is permissive. There was no questions about that. There was no changes on the, ordinance, explanation that you guys received at the last meeting. Same with amendment number 2 for the, more strict, the stricter provision will prevail and will rule. Number 3, the definitions stay the same. There were no changes on the explanatory sheets.
But I don't think that the typical voter will understand what permissive ordinances mean, and therefore I think that some other means of explaining what this is.
Yep.
And there's a very good reason for being there.
Yes. So this explanation sheet, we did go over, and then we did the subcommittee that I sent it out to, and I received feedback on. So amendment number 1, can everybody read that? I can.
Yeah.
That's better. Thank you.
Yeah. So permissive zoning clarifies that only uses specifically listed in the zoning ordinance are allowed. Any use not listed would require approval through an existing variance or special exception process. This does not change how the zoning ordinance is currently applied. It only clarifies that the intent of the ordinance. So if you guys want, you have proposed changes to it?
I have a question.
Yes.
When we say would require special exception process, is that through us or
ZBA.
ZBA?
Yeah.
I think
think
that should
that-
be specified.
That's what I'm
Okay.
headed to.
Yeah.
That it should say through the ZBA, not us.
Sure.
That's my.
That's the normal process. So we don't want to make it sound like that's different. That's when you say through an existing variance special exception process, that is the ZBA.
Yeah, but what I want is for the voter to understand.
Right, my feeling is,
Well, then
you
have-
understand
Because we
that.
understand it, yeah.
So any use through, it would not require approval by the ZBA through an existing variance special exception process, something.
I don't have a problem. I'm just saying, I think that the ZBA
It's just
has to be
normal,
included there
right.
somewhere.
It's just, we're not changing.
I'm not changing, I'm just
We
saying.
can't, that's state.
Right, I'm just saying, I think that
No, no,
this clarifying
I-
document should clarify the ZBA,
Sure.
not Bill.
God help us, yeah.
So any use not listed would require approval by the zoning board through an existing variance or special exception process.
Zoning board
Of adjustment.
of adjustment.
Yeah,
That's
John
what it
has a
says.
question.
Just to
Come on,
clarify,
John.
being a neophyte, the planning board makes the zoning, so there's a separate zoning board.
Zoning Board of Adjustment.
No,
Zoning
the
board.
zoning board of adjustment is a separate organization, separate board that is there in order to answer appeals. If the planning board makes a decision for which the applicant objects, the applicant's first line of say recourse, that's a good word, is to go to the ZBA. And the
So-
ZBA.
Yeah.
Yeah, is that correct?
Well, that's one that's fine, but it's also for the select board. So if the select board makes a decision, enforcement decision on a zoning issue, anybody has 30 days, I believe,
Yeah, but that's.
to,
Of an
to,
administrative.
it's a minute to relief of administrative
Right.
decision. But the zoning board exists for these two purposes.
They oversee 5 applications.
Yeah.
So dimensional, equitable waiver of dimensional requirements, which is if there was an honest mistake and something was built incorrectly, like within the setbacks or whatnot, then it's kind of like an automatic approved, like if there was an honest mistake, there you go. Then there are special exceptions, which are things that are specifically listed as special exception in the zoning ordinance. Then things that are not listed at all, is that you would go through the variance, process. And that is that you have to prove that there's a hardship, specific to your property in order, to get approval for that. So variances are kind of hard to get. The other one is the appeals. So they are, they also oversee appeals from administrative, decisions. So it is a totally separate board, and so if there's anything in the zoning ordinance that they don't comply with, they have to go to the zoning board.
It's a court of
Planning board
appeals.
Still
Yeah, no,
reviews-
it's not the select board though, or
No.
it's separate.
We
Yes.
enforce zoning, but if someone doesn't like the way we enforce it, they can go to the ZBA. They have 30 days
Yes,
to appeal. Or if they don't agree with the planning board decision, for example, on a site plan,
Yes,
they can go to the ZBA as a first step to appeal the decision, get them.
Gotcha.
That would be the first step potentially.
yep. And then thereafter, it's to a New Hampshire court.
so are we good with amendment 1 language for the voters?
I think so. And then, there will be, some of us will be at a table throughout the voting day and be able to make explanations verbally to anyone who has a query about what these long list of zoning amendment votes means. But it's rather crucial because, we're the ones who are applying or are saying to the voter, we want you to vote for these. We want you to vote yes. And therefore,
This is why.
a suitable explanation is definitely required.
Yep.
Next,
Amendment number 2 is the restrictive standard. If there are 2 rules that conflict with each other, the stricter requirement applies.
Yes,
I don't think that's confusing.
Could I point out on each one of these, on the first one, the select board recommended it be approved 3-0. The second one, the select board recommended it be approved 3-0.
But wouldn't that be a select board document then? Because we're the planning board.
No, I'm informing you guys the action that the select board took on each one of these amendments.
Yeah,
Could you send it to
Warrant
us?
articles, are you guys gonna put that as well?
We hadn't
Yes.
discussed that.
Okay.
We could.
Usually do.
it's
Yeah.
usually there.
Yeah.
Is,
The board at least recommended it, recommended.
All right, I'll
these.
clarify
And
that.
I don't know.
We have
Yeah.
a meeting next week.
Okay, yep.
Yeah, that, I would assume we would do that.
Okay, perfect. All right, number 3 definitions, and I don't know if you guys wanted to plug in the definitions, let's see. Here.
The select board recommends that you do list them.
Listen, okay,
I think it's a good idea because a voter would say, what definitions?
yep, all right.
And we had some other comments. On this one, we did not take final action on yet. We had some questions.
Okay, so
Rich, I have a question about that. If you come back and you have suggested changes to one.
We
of
cannot
them,
change them.
That's my understanding is you can't change that which you sent. which means if you do not agree with it, it would be on there without your approval, without
Well,
your agreement.
whatever the vote is.
What- it would be-
Recommend disapproval,
No, it would go and say
yeah,
on there that it is not,
recommended.
recommended by the select board.
Yeah, one of these were 2-1.
No, I
Yeah, no, that's it.
think
Can't
that would
change it.
have, okay.
So I will add, I will add the definitions onto this, and just a short explanation of what the planning board is proposing.
There was a couple other issues. One of them was very complicated, but so I hope I have it right. First of all, it doesn't appear that, I think we took out family because it's no longer recognized as a legal term.
Yep.
Just as point of reference, there are other places where we talk about family in the ordinance. It came up when we were looking at definitions and family was changed.
Okay.
It's noted that it needs to be reviewed, that there's some other places in just the ordinance that need to do it. So that's a simple fix, I think. We were tripping over, the select board was tripping over if you want to, we'll talk about a specific one. Dwelling unit. And it also is going to relate to number 6, I believe.
Yes, and that's where the action is in this discussion.
Mhm.
That is, the meat of this is going to be with respect to ADUs and STRs.
That's where the final.
Yeah, that's where most of the voters are going to be focused.
So I'm just having trouble reading the red on white. Could we put up on the screen the dwelling unit? These glasses will work.
Yeah, I think I know which one you're saying.
Yeah,
It's the
go ahead.
second sentence. This
ahead,
use
yeah.
shall not be deemed to include such transient occupancies as hotels, motels, rooming, boarding houses, or short-term rentals. So like shall not means you cannot,
Right,
but shall not be deemed to include makes it confusing. Does that mean it doesn't include these uses, or is the
Correct.
definition exclusive of the listed uses?
So that was one of, the comments that was made earlier, so it does not consider hotels, motels, rooming, boarding, short-term rentals as a permanent dwelling unit.
Hence the Morgan questions.
Yeah, so the list there,
Yes, so those are not considered to be full-time permanent dwelling units.
and which means those aren't like, that doesn't, like this definition doesn't include those.
Right,
They're excluded.
yeah, so, yes.
But how are we
Okay.
going to do this so that the voter understands it clearly?
right, because you could potentially misread the intent. I mean,
Yeah.
this is, I think, what we were tripping over. That we're trying to define essentially what is a principal dwelling unit, if I understand correctly. But if you look at 6, we do not allow STRs and ADUs. Then doesn't that make it, if someone has a principal dwelling unit that say has a detached ADU potentially, and they're living in that smaller unit. Does this potentially, it could be misread, this prohibits them from renting out as a
Main.
short-term rental.
Yes.
Main house.
The main house.
So. Right,
That is
Yeah.
the intent. I think.
the
Well,
intent
the
of
intent
this
of-
is that we're not using them as permanent residences.
maybe that's so. Because people will get confused, how is
Yeah.
an STR, how are these not dwelling units, right? In common language, a hotel room is a dwelling,
It's just not used for permanent residency.
maybe that's all I
And
need.
That's all we're saying.
I think that.
Yep.
That sound like it would fix it? I mean,
Yeah,
So one sentence that declares that might fix it.
we're not attempting to include STRs in a principal dwelling unit, I think is what we're trying to say, right?
Yeah, they're just not permanent
But not considered
Dwelling,
permanent
yes.
dwelling units.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we were tripping over that.
Transient,
like others, So I think others will probably.
Yep.
It's just, I understand it's legal. How can we make it?
Yep.
Make sense?
So what's the resolution?
In the voter explanatory notes, I will write out specifically dwelling units for permanent residency does not include hotels, motels, rooming, boarding houses, or short-term rentals.
Yeah, maybe you say this is meant to define principal.
Yep.
Dwelling.
Yep.
I can't use, you can't use definite, you can't use the same term
Yeah.
to explain.
Yeah.
Yeah, to explain what you're trying to explain.
They're just not considered permanent housing.
Yeah,
That's maybe it, right?
I mean, it does say transient in there, but, right, which is not permanent,
Right.
but.
Right.
Let's make it easy.
This is meant to capture permanent housing, not,
Yes,
however, then you have to define, because everything hangs on permanent then.
yes, yeah.
Okay, so you see the dilemma, we just
Mhm.
wanna make sure that people understand that.
Yep.
All right, we will,
Permanent is a funny word.
well, that's what I said, everything hangs on permanent, but we'll leave it up to Liz.
Permanent means
Liz
never
is-
torn down.
Yeah, well, we'll leave it up to Liz to come, I think at some point you gotta,
We
all you
can
wanna do
change-
is get to an understanding that's common.
Yep, so, for next year, we can propose to reword that last sentence. And then put it in front of the voters again, unless you get holding special town meeting.
Would you say that's a clarification, not a change,
Let me,
so that, we could clarify if it's approved? We
Yep.
can change it to clarify.
I'll look into that and I'll see if that's something that we can do.
It's a complicated business, Mike.
No, it is very complicated, but I don't think we can change it. We can change our explanation, but I don't think we can change.
Well, no, that's what I'm
Yeah.
asking. You may be able to, it's just a clarification on the language.
It's not changing the substance
It's
of it.
it's not changing it. Yeah, you can. There is a provision.
Well, let's not lose track of why we're doing this. We're doing this to help the voter to
Right.
come to a yes decision.
Yeah, no, I had moved on to, perhaps we'll do this in explanation. I'll have Liz make the explanatory note, explain what we mean here.
Have an explanatory note for the explanatory note.
Right.
Yeah.
It could end up that, but what I was talking to Liz about, possibility of just, if it's just a clarification. That we can actually, if it's approved, you can actually change the language in the zoning to reflect. The clarification,
I will reach out and see.
And
if
she's
that's
gonna
possible.
next year,
Yeah, I'll
yeah.
check on it.
Yeah,
not changing.
Is this
the intent.
substantial enough or is it not substantial?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, clarification.
And on clarifications, if we're ready to move on, it's, similar. So, in full transparency, Wendy from the select board asked Rich and Bill and then asked me. Cause we couldn't, about this and one other thing, and that's the definition of ADU. So we have detached and attached, and then under the detached definition, we have numbers 1 through 5. Should those also be included with,
That's a
Attached.
formatting error,
okay,
and they should actually be A, B, C, D, E, F, G.
okay,
They should be listed out that way.
under both attached and detached?
Yeah, so is it this, so the A, B, C,
Yeah,
that's talking specifically to the above accessory dwelling unit. It's just defining what attached and detached are. But the 1, 2, 3, 1 through 8, I believe it is.
Should be.
1 through 8
D.
should be, yes, should be following order of C, D,
Okay.
E, F.
okay, so then it's all inclusive.
Yes.
Okay,
So-
But the C, I thought, what we were tripping over on C, detached
Could you
ADU.
read, I'm too far away.
So a unit that is neither within nor physically connected to the principal dwelling unit. Or completely contained within a pre-existing detached structure.
Yep.
If we change, and so, we go down to. Yeah, I need a small actually, 'cause I think we need to go down a little. No, not
6?
4, not 5, 6. No, not 6. No, it was up. I'm sorry, it was up. I'm sorry, I didn't. So it was, yes, so C,
You okay over there?
B, I was just sneezing.
not completely contained within a
Yeah, a lot of it.
pre-existing. Is that the language that we were looking at here? I'm sorry.
This is just saying that it's separate, that it's separated from a primary structure.
How long is, I have to ask this question. How long is this document that explains all of this?
I want to keep it as short as possible because the voters.
I understand that, but I'm a very simplistic person.
We know.
Dream
We
on.
can possibly get it.
Wait a minute, I understand, Mike, is this more than 3 pages?
No,
It's gonna be 3 pages long.
or less.
I don't know how you're gonna do that, but unless it's
It's-
very small type.
No, because, you have about a page and a half before people are like, yeah, okay, whatever.
I thought it was less than that, but yes.
Yeah,
My concern is classical.
yes, 100%. So the shortest way that we can get the idea across, that's how we're gonna do it. Because I don't want it to be a 3-page document.
It's going to be a 3-page document.
Easy.
If I put the definitions, I'm just gonna put explanations of the definitions of what we're trying to accomplish. Because we can't have a 3-page document.
That's
Nobody will read it.
a good suggestion is to have the definitions on a separate page.
That's where I was headed, Bill,
As a
is that
separate,
you may have a. I hate to call it a 2-part document, but
Right.
call it whatever you want, but that's what I'm kind of saying too. Is you have one here and one here, and okay, I read this and what does that mean? And I go to a separate thing.
okay,
I kind of,
Yes, and I also think that this business of the ADU attached and detached, because I think that this is singularly the most important issue that the voter will have,
some voters.
that could be, yeah, well, yeah,
Yeah.
I understand. No, some voters are simply going to say, I approve, and other voters are,
Some voters are automatically gonna say they.
that's right. There's some voters that say, I don't care what the civic government has to offer, I'm
voting
against it.
I'm
That's-
voting against it.
I understand that too.
But I think, no offense, I know how brilliant you are. However, there is no way without separating this, that this is gonna be less than 3 pages.
Yep.
In my,
Noted.
Okay, so
Find
we-
what I needed.
then we've
Yeah.
agreed that we'll have the definitions on a separate page. And if we get two,
on rare occasion when Bill and
oh, come on,
I
Mike.
still have sewer on the brain.
Mike, it's time for you to leave.
I. Almost.
So
And wait a minute, and that one, and that meeting makes this one look easy.
3B, I think we were
Mhm.
tripping a little bit
Yep.
over that. So an attached ADU, a unit that is within or physically connected to the principal dwelling unit or completely contained within a pre-existing detached structure. So an attached, it could be read, an attached ADU can be in a pre-existing detached structure.
That's so
So
confusing.
That's what we were tripping over that. How do we explain?
2 pages.
pages.
It's not attached, it's detached, it's
So-
a separate.
Yeah, but what if the ADU was in a detached building?
So this,
That's what
I
makes it
took it
confusing.
from BEA,
For
The
example,
definition,
one that is.
but their explanation is, so say you have a house and a garage.
Right.
with
Yes,
a
that's
cover,
exactly the one.
Like
Time out, Mike, one at a time, please.
If you have a house and a garage covered by like a covered walkway, connected, quote unquote, by a covered walkway. That's where they threw this in, because it's a detached structure, but
Right.
technically it's connected. So that's why BEA worded it this way.
How do we explain that?
Yeah,
Just as you did.
Yeah.
yes, I
Yeah.
think
You
just
could
as you,
say-
yes, it
Anything
could,
covered.
Give an
attached
example, maybe
via-
explain by example.
you're gonna need a couple of sentences to do it.
Via a covered walkway.
For example, this would, yeah.
Because I'm sure that any
Especially
voter
when
who
you're-
tries to read this kind of linguistic exercise is going to be confused.
Can I ask a question? What? Those things that are in place because they are required by the state. Should we mention that in the explanation?
Yes,
Yes.
the state mandated changes or not.
Yes,
And we're gonna say that.
It just,
Of course,
What if
that's gonna
state
make-
mandated change.
put it in the explanation
Yeah.
sheet,
Yeah.
state mandated
And
change.
then that immediately people will vote against it because of that.
So, something else that I noticed that, honestly, I didn't write down which one this pertains to, but it was a discussion, but. Somewhere in the past, we discussed that RVs aren't allowed to be short-term rentals.
Mhm.
Does that include tiny homes on wheels? Because most tiny homes are built on chassis that are designed to be moved around. So does that make it a mobile home, an RV, something else?
It's a very good question.
Recreational vehicle is defined. Built on a single chassis, 400 square. When measured at the longest horizontal projection. Designed to be self-propelled or permanently towable by a light-duty truck. And designed primarily not for uses as a permanent dwelling, but as a temporary living quarters. So the difference would be temporary living or a tiny home is meant for permanent housing.
But which is it? Is if a tiny home can be rolled around, is it an
Tiny
RV?
home is meant for permanent.
I think it is.
Correct.
Yes.
That's
Right,
it's
so,
inclusive of anything.
About
that
how we
falls.
define permanent housing.
permanent dwelling, I don't know.
We do that. And I think we can.
Somebody's trying to say something on,
Yeah,
No, I think it's just feedback from Nancy.
But
Yeah,
Rich,
yes,
is
please.
what you say it again, because what you said was important.
What did I say? Still have
Brain
super-
pride.
But the question, and then go back to the tiny home. The tiny home could be permanent housing, but move from place to place, but the structure itself is permanent housing. So
Yes, just not permanently.
not
No,
permanently, not permanently in, what?
I don't agree with that. That is, I would say that's not permanent housing.
I wasn't making a comment what it was, but I know people that are amazingly enough, that have a tiny home and basically use it effectively as an RV. But they move it from place to place, but that's where they live within.
If they
their-
have a plot of land here, they can roll it on there, but. That's where where it becomes the gray area, right?
Well, we can't have gray areas.
Correct, but that's why we're having the discussion.
Okay, I thought that we did have the discussion that if it rolls, it's an RV.
Yeah, that gets us back to the permanent. Word permanent living.
Right.
So, when using. If a tiny home, so in Charlestown, they classified tiny homes as recreational vehicles if they had the quick connects. For
Mm.
water and sewer and utilities. And they considered tiny homes, with permanent connections to be permanent housing.
That's a good way.
I
That's
like
how they
that.
classified it.
Yeah,
That worked.
that makes sense.
Sounds
So,
permanent.
that could be a way, we can't.
Do it
No,
with
we-
you.
but-
Yeah, let's do that.
Add that to the list of zoning amendments for
For next year.
next year.
Okay.
That
That,
will
to
That's it
me,
for me.
close that.
I think that works, but that to me is also on second page.
It's for next
It
year.
is,
Next
okay,
year.
third page. But if some voter comes to the counter, comes to the table and says, I don't understand this,
So we can say neither do we.
then I think that explanation about the quick connect works.
But the quick connect and the quick connect. Basically, this can still move from place to place and have the quick connections that they just plug in wherever they go.
So the quick
Yeah,
connects
but if
don't
it's a
meet
quick
building code. For permanent housing. So, because they're not winterized. For the quick connects.
All right, next year.
That's just what I was explaining to the building inspector in Charlestown.
I know, that's fantastic.
That's next year.
Next year.
That's next year.
Yeah, there's gonna be plenty for next year.
So we are on 3, so I will bring, we will have on the agenda for next Wednesday, the select board's review of ZEO Amendment 3.
Okay. That's fine, but we need to do this now because the next planning board meeting is the 12th, which is after
Yeah.
town meeting. We gotta have this ready for town meeting.
I will finish up all the changes today, and then send it out to the board, and then you guys can review it and then email me separately. Just to what you
Or,
guys feel with more.
or we can
edits,
have a special
or-
meeting.
Or we can hold a special
We have a
meeting.
special meeting. If you want to see what actually Liz wrote as a board, you can have a separate meeting.
I don't think that's.
But I go back to
Come
what,
on, Liz, we're in the mode now. We've been having special
Well,
meetings for the
you know,
last 3 months.
It's important, so. Just something to consider.
Mr. Bill, do you remember what the cutoff date, if we want to get this to Mr. Fergal to go into the wigwag, what was the cutoff date?
You're gonna get everything
Usually
to the 20th.
Third, 20.
Yeah, I don't think you're gonna, this is, how do you get something like this into the wigwag? This is gonna be pages long. What do you?
So how do we get this to the voters? They're gonna get it the day of the voting?
Put
You
it
could
on
put a
the,
link.
no, at least you can do is put it on the website.
Post it on the website and then
Post office?
in the
Wigwag?
Make record,
Wigwag.
Wigwag.
no,
A link? A link to. the
yes,
website?
yes, that's the solution, I think.
Yeah. I
Just to
mean,
say that,
Tory notes on the planning board zoning ordinance amendments.
Yeah.
Click this
Both.
link.
Both. A link that.
and,
both.
and the explanation sheet,
Yeah, both, one link,
Yeah.
both.
but a few words in the WAG to say that this link exists is, I think, is the solution.
I agree with that, but we have to get it. Yeah,
Intended.
We could do that now.
yeah,
It is.
yeah.
All this detail is not going to be in the WAG, it's going to be on the website.
I just
Yeah,
want
just
to
someone
make
has to
sure that the
contact.
WAG has some link. I mean,
Provide Andy or Mike with the link.
Who will do it? Madam Secretary?
Yes.
Thank you.
She's on it.
Nice.
yeah, I mean, we all see
Good
like
initiative,
crazy
yeah.
around.
It doesn't preclude them from anybody from commenting in the wigwag on any of these. That's not our business, though.
No.
Correct.
Comments at the business of Waterville Valley. Yes,
Just the link.
okay.
So saying,
Can,
for more information on,
For information, I don't think it'd be more so. I mean, it could be just zoning.
Explanatory
zoning
information.
amendments for a list of the zoning ordinance amendments and explanatory notes, please
use the following one.
go to
Please
this
use
link.
this link.
That's it.
Should it also be in news and views?
No, we do not
No.
do social, the town.
We don't do anything
We
with
recommend, highly
As a town.
recommend that.
Okay, so
None
the
of the
news and
social
views is
media.
not an official whatever.
That's
Right.
correct.
what is the link that I'm sending them though? That's the thing.
Yeah,
You have to create.
A link.
If it can it be posted on, is there like a news and announcements
Yes,
section on the
Isn't-
homepage?
yes.
So just say, check out the news and announcements section. And then just put
Once
it,
it's posted,
in there?
Morgan, like once we put it on the website, I
yeah,
can just send you the link.
Okay,
Yeah, then you can pass it
So once
along.
I have, well,
Mhm.
once Kristen has what needs to get posted,
Yep.
I will send you the link.
Perfect.
I will bring people directed to it.
And that just has to be done before the 20th.
got it.
On it.
Gonna
Next.
correct my typos and then.
amendment of
You have a week.
food service establishment. Replace the restaurant with food service establishment throughout the zoning ordinance. It applies only to state licensed food service establishments. And then Margaret, had a really good point of adding community events serving food like gazebo, sachet, town meeting day soup, and chili, bake sales, and other benefit events in private homes are not state licensed food service establishments and therefore are not impacted by this
Absolutely,
change.
yeah. That works.
Okay, that works.
That works. This was recommended. pretty
Okay.
thorough
Good solution.
at the select board.
Short-term rentals, amendment number 5. This would add the regulations for structures and land that are rented for increments of less than 1 month. Existing permit application requirements are added to the ordinance for clarity. The zoning ordinance does list them out, so Margaret had a question, if we should add the explanation or added information of what, the short-term rental regulations are in the explanatory notes.
I would say no.
They can go on the website, if
Right.
they're in the current short-term, application.
We want to change month to say 30 consecutive days.
We have to be consistent, we're not. Good point. So, in one case, we say 30 days, in another case, we say a month in zoning, I believe.
Hmm.
Probably should use the same.
But I think I
I'm
understand
going- I'm
Alan's
looking
point.
for the short-term
Sorry?
rentals.
I understand your point.
Well, then help me.
No, no,
That's a good
the whole business of words.
That's the one with the edits, page 52.
Got it?
I like the phrase 30 consistent
I think
days.
up to, okay.
Consecutive, sorry, my mistake, consecutive.
Agreed.
Because when we were going over the permit for them, changing the permit. And then we noticed that, well, one place was saying month and another place saying 30 days. So, yeah, and I think it was. I think the actual zoning, we should, whatever the zoning says is what the permit should reflect.
Yep.
Would it be reasonable, Liz, to include in definitions, a month means 30 consecutive days?
Mhm.
That would be helpful. Because over and over again, the lessons that we've learned is that if it's not in the ordinance and if it's not specific
So
in the
we have-
ordinance, it's not applicable, it's not enforceable.
But we we cannot change that today
No,
for this, and
Correct.
we have to put it in that
Yes.
which we will do.
for the
Next year,
26,
yes.
27
Well,
season.
So this is, I can put it in the explanatory notes.
Yes,
And the board understands that, the select board understands that it's 30 consecutive days. And then we can just make that clear next year. We can put
Yes.
down there.
Yeah.
And do that March, whatever it
yeah,
is,
because there's always somebody who's trying to find a way to beat the system.
Mhm.
usually.
So the zoning says what? Because the permit has to reflect it.
It will say the 30 days per calendar year.
Where does it say that now?
It doesn't.
Section 3.
3, well, that's the appeal.
I remember seeing that somewhere.
It's in the permit, but it was different from. Definitions, check definitions, that's where it is, I think. Sorry,
No, that's.
buried somewhere.
Come on, guys, it's only 65 pages.
Should we have it in there?
Yeah, we're just trying to make it easy.
Not gonna happen.
We gotta try.
So we don't have it in here, so whatever the permit says.
No, the permit can't. be
No, the
different.
permit is based on the warrant article.
Right,
What are we looking for, the short-term rental permit?
Yeah,
Well, I mean, we haven't,
we're still in the process of changing it,
Right.
what does it say? That
it
was
says
on the-
30 days on the
It
permit.
says 30 days on the permit, but I
that's
think I
not what it
read,
says here.
I think I read a month in zoning,
I think
and I'm
you're
trying to
right.
find that. We don't have a definition of short-term, well, we have transient, it's under transient. That's it. See, you just gotta, it's easy, people can follow along.
Yeah. That's what I said. It's only 65 pages. What's the problem?
I wish I could see. Transient, a room, number of rooms, or a dwelling unit. That is offered for rent in increments of less than 1 month.
Which is what the permit has to say.
The permit. But again, we're in the middle, we're still trying to change it, but it. The permit's gonna says 30 days.
Can't
Of
do
the
it.
application.
Permit has to follow this.
So
Yes.
it's,
Right,
yeah,
but
no,
we
no,
can't change the permit till we change the zoning.
no, that's not
Yeah.
correct. No, we can change.
Okay, well.
That,
then
that's
once
a,
we get-
that's a material error that we can change at any time. Because our permit says, doesn't reflect what's in zoning, we can just update the permit.
Correct.
But we're,
Yes.
at the next select board meeting, we're gonna hopefully finalize.
Yeah, I know we were waiting for the final time.
Right, there were a couple other questions.
Yeah.
So we'll change that to a month, but yeah, it does, that is, I think the original, the idea of 30 days, I think we need to go back and check the actual warrant. Because a month is open to interpretation. Is it 28 days, is it 30 days, 31 days? 30 days, I think that's why we went with 30 days. So I'm not sure why it says month in here. The warrant article was very specific on this.
We screwed it up.
Okay, so that's it's already been voted on, and it was just a recording error from when it was put in.
If, I'm not sure.
Yeah, do you happen to remember about when it was voted on, that one chance?
For short-term rentals?
For the transient
Yeah,
use.
yeah, that was,
Is that when we created the regs for short-term?
yeah, it was right
Did
after
that?
that, right
So
after
that
that
was
meeting, then
20
select board, and DPS.
I can find it.
Yeah, we'll see that. We can come back to that, well, that one, but. Do we want to say dwelling unit here? Too, because we changed dwelling
For,
transient. This is our definition of short-term rental. A short-term, if you go and read short-term, it's
Essentially, yes.
a transient, it's a transient, right?
Yep.
A dwelling unit, how does that fit with the changes we made to dwelling?
they're not considered.
Yeah,
Permanent.
yeah, see, that gets into
Permanent
the,
residence.
that gets into that confusion again.
It was 2021.
Okay, what, yeah. Can you, if you pull up either the town report from 2021, what the warrant article said, I don't think it was amended, or just go to the 22.
I don't know if we have just all the time.
Yeah, we have town report, go to town report 22 and it will list what was approved.
My website?
Yeah, just type in town report.
You voted on it in 2021.
Yeah, we were trying to get ahead, and that's when some of these cases were coming down, and especially these lakeside towns. Where there was no regulation and the towns were losing in court.
Mhm.
So they were trying to force, because they did not have a definition of
We wanted to get ahead of
we
it.
wanted to get ahead of it, so.
Questions, we didn't do a very good job.
I think it's, if you go to the green, I think is it the green that, well, go ahead, just keep on. Get there,
Oh, this is different. Did you
yeah,
go?
just keep on. Oh, there we go, I think we may have, oh, no, that's the old, that was last year's, keep on going. Where are our warrant articles? No, that was the previous year's,
Yeah, this would be
Minutes.
2021.
keep on going. We're trying to get to the warrant articles, this is all the minutes of the 20 meeting, keep on going.
What is this document?
This is the town report. Yeah, it's gonna be long because it's, you know, a several hour meeting.
Yeah, but it's,
Is there a
5
specific
years
word
ago.
you're looking for? It's
Well, look to the
PDF,
warrant
probably
articles
can't.
that we voted on.
I
Yeah.
did
He was
control it.
splitting
looking for
Yeah,
the
it's a
transient.
PDF, you can't, right?
he knows
Sometimes
more
not,
about this than
but
anybody.
They upload it as scannable.
It's usually towards the beginning of the report, you know, like here, the
The
warrant
warrant
article.
articles are on page 26,
Oh, all right,
at least on my phone.
all right.
You know, I thought I was deep in it.
There we go. Now look for the one on, it'll be after the money articles,
Zoning should be the first after the officers.
right,
Short-term rental.
there you go, right there. Where,
Oh my God.
You don't want to be on the select board.
Because this is moving
Do
it.
anything.
In the regulations, it's voted on at March 2021 to adopt these short-term rental regulations.
But that's the amendment to it, so there's gotta be a,
So that's why I was going through the,
no, it's not gonna be,
well, so this is the 2021 minutes.
oh, okay,
So that's what I was looking
right,
for the results,
I got it.
but it
There you go, well, it should be there, right?
jumps.
We go right to the articles we talked about, we don't have the articles
Yeah,
that were.
I have a question. No, go ahead.
Is this relative to creating the explanation for this year?
Yes.
Yes.
It is, okay, I got.
It is because
Lost
we're
in
getting
it.
in the definitions of the definitions. And I apologize, but I have to leave to be beaten up by the Democrats and the Republicans down in DC.
There was a specific warrant.
Will you be
article that
bandaged when you return?
Introduced and defined short-term rentals.
How late would you think how late? You're gonna be here till 3 o'clock.
Okay, so
We'll be here.
You want to see that one or?
Yes.
That's what we're looking at.
Probably,
It was,
this will probably go till 11:30.
Meeting Alan for
Tonight.
like. Yes, please.
No, mine.
Alan, would you like to be seated?
Yes, please.
Alan is seated to replace Mike.
did you find it?
Did Article 2
I'll
pass?
never fill your shoes.
What?
Nobody.
Because clarifying how the ordinance is applied
Unless you're size 13.
was on the
And I don't
warrant
want that shit.
for the 2021 vote.
Yes, I mean, I remember the ones that did not pass. This one, I don't remember this specifically passing.
I don't remember that.
I do, add definition of short-term rental transit, meaning transient rental of a dwelling unit.
For less than a month.
There it is, right.
Yeah, but I don't think that
Or
passed.
that's what our zoning ordinance.
No, that's what, that passed.
Did it?
I think so.
You got a better memory of
So
it.
next year
Well, I remember the ones that didn't pass, so everything else must have.
Most everything passes.
I take a shortcut.
Hey, that's the definition of the truth. Well, everything else is eliminated. Yeah.
So we should, so
Is
we should say a
on
month.
there, so I can get in from when I'm done with my other thing?
Zoom? No, we're not putting the links on the agenda anymore, but I can email it to you.
Email me, and I'm done in an hour, before I'll do.
Okay, are we making progress?
Well, yes, I mean, the point here is we're just trying to make sure that the permit that we're trying to create
Matches.
matches what we're doing. Any changes were made here, and it should say a month.
A month, yes.
So we do need to next year,
We need to define a month.
Change that to
Change-
30 consecutive days.
I think we not define a month, but change it to 30 consecutive days.
Okay,
I think that's good, but it
I
still
think-
doesn't affect our explanation for this year.
Well,
So I
someone
think we
may,
want to be focused on.
somebody may,
It could be argued that it's 31 days or 28 days.
Leap
I
year.
would say if the town's going to regulate it, I would take the longest month, and that's what a month will be.
that's
For
safe.
this year,
Yeah,
yeah, that's the safest way. And then next year we can change it to 30 consecutive days.
right.
but I think, Rob, that it helps whoever's going to be at the desk talking to the voters to know what it is that is for us, now that we know we've had this discussion, we can be better explainers when
It's a
we're,
month.
Yeah,
If someone
At
asks
the
about
desk.
short-term rentals.
Yeah, but it's still not affecting what the warrant is today. And I just making the comment that to get through this, I think we need to be focused on the warrant articles are set. And, just what explains and make notes for the future.
I understand.
Because that's our work for 2026 is to go back and make those changes.
That's it. We were trying to make a note for the future.
Yeah.
We didn't know what it was. Make that note, that's all.
Okay.
No, I thought that was a useful discussion. Now,
Yeah.
let's move on.
Wait a minute, we're still on, where are we? Because I think we have a
I'm
comment.
gonna
Oh,
get
four.
number 5.
Number
That's
5,
what we've been working on.
yes, so. To update the town's short-term rental rate, so we gotta go to STRs in. Because we do make a significant change that I think has to be pointed out to the. To the,
You're making a significant change to the permit?
no, you're making accessory dwelling units
Shall
shall not be used as short-term rental.
Yep.
Right now, we allow ADUs to be used for short-term rentals. Because we only allow attached
Attached.
ADUs. So this is a limitation on the current property right. That we proposed.
If, yes.
So we need to let people know
Uh,
that. Did that make sense, to everybody?
What you said, yeah. Could we flip back to the
Let's say it
notes,
again.
the cheat sheet for the voters?
Mhm.
Okay, so number 5, okay, this would.
So add in a new bullet point.
Okay, existing permit application requirements.
So then we'll do,
Cause it's a regular, yeah. Yeah,
accessory dwelling units are not allowed to be used as short-term rentals? Is that?
Pretty clear.
It is. Anybody have a problem with that?
am I correct that it's an existing right? And attached, well, just let's forget detached. Attached, just that
Okay.
until this, we allowed short-term rentals in an ADU.
That I'd have to check.
I think we have to spell out, we're changing a property right here. This is not,
Well, I
no.
think that's pretty clear. So for
Well-
example, if I have a little apartment above my garage, it cannot be rented for less than 30 days. It has to be a long-term rental. I'm not
right now,
allowed,
we allow that.
right. but that's
Because
what
it's
that's
a-
saying Is that you
And-
can't, I
No,
think it's
Yeah.
pretty clear right there, so
We
that we
al-
can't do it anymore.
all right, I make the
It has to be
distinction
very
that it's,
transparent here.
I make the distinction that it's allowed because it's part of the permanent dwelling. That
But
is, if
it's-
you have
No,
an
it shouldn't
ADU,
have- It shouldn't have been so broad. It should have been detached dwellings
yes,
not allowed, or
But we only
That-
had one type we allowed to begin with.
that's the
And we
distinction.
didn't catch it when we were going through this. Until after we had voted on everything, so we cannot change it now, but I think we have to point out that this is a change. To the current property right, it's,
Mhm.
you're allowed to rent. As a short-term rental, an ADU in this town. This is taking that right away.
They changed R to will not be, to will, feature.
We're at a bullet that says this is a change.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying, that, the question was, are we happy with this? And I'm saying, well, it doesn't really tell people that they're potentially losing a property right that they currently have.
Okay,
You can make that
then,
argument for every single one of these amendments.
Yeah, we're changing.
Mhm.
How about accessory dwelling will no longer be allowed?
Okay,
So,
that's,
But I want to double check. I'm pretty sure we allowed STRs and ADUs. We didn't.
I,
I think that's clear.
Maybe not.
I'm looking at the existing one, the one that. It's current.
Okay. It's possible the select board is wrong. Happens on occasion. Not
I should-
often, on occasion.
I should make note of it.
It's a notable experience.
So this is the current.
We do not prohibit STRs and ADUs currently, right?
That's what she's
That's the
looking at.
question.
I don't believe it's. In any district of the, or dwelling unit in full compliance of this ordinance. Right, the dwelling.
May rent the dwelling
Use with.
as a short-term rental.
So I don't believe it says anything about. Them being allowed access.
Well, before we had accessory use, right? You changed that. Did we change that to ADU? Was that the change? We had accessory building and then we jumped to accessory use. We keep accessory use, but we added ADU
Mhm.
because we did not have a definition.
So. If we go by, if it's not listed, then it's not allowed,
I thought a use,
but,
I think I'll have to wait for Alicia to come back, but I think we permit,
Short-term rental for.
I think
As
we,
an accessory use without obtaining an additional permit pursuant, so that's. Dwelling, full compliance with this ordinance.
so we, for example, I think accessory use was how we were trying to get at ADUs before, right? No, because that would include other things, that would include other
Use for
things.
building or a lot subordinate to and customarily incidental to the principal use includes rental of
One or two
1 or 2
bedrooms
bedrooms of an owner occupied residence.
for non-transient,
For a short term, to use as a short term rental. Yep, so this is including 1 or 2 bedrooms in an owner occupied residence, so it's not saying anything about accessory dwelling units.
Okay.
This is saying 1 or 2 bedrooms of an owner occupied residence. So it's silent on
Yeah, so it was never
accessory dwelling
addressed.
units.
well, we've interpreted that to allow, means it to allow.
Well, it
Um,
doesn't say that,
Yeah,
it just says. Includes the rental of 1 or 2 bedrooms in an owner occupied residence.
For non-transient use.
For non-transient
Right.
use.
all right.
Yeah,
So can we
my
go back to the-
recollection is this all came about after the state changed the law. When the state said that you could build a separate ADU. Our position on what a short-term rental was changed. It said, if it's inside your house, I think we allowed it. But now that there's a ADU that could be separate, we're saying, no, we're not going to permit ADUs that are built separately to be built as a short-term rental. I think that is the intent.
Right, but the change we're making, we'll need to talk later, Liz, I think, give you a chance to research it a bit, and then
Yeah.
you can come in front of the. If you can talk to the select board, next Wednesday, I mean, just even by Zoom for a few minutes on this issue. If you have time in your schedule, or some other time, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, Wednesdays I'm in Bethlehem, so I'm tied up all day.
All day?
In Bethlehem.
All right, we'll figure out a way to.
Eight
get in touch with you.
4:30ish.
Right,
So if it's
Because-
after 4:30, then
Right.
sure.
because frankly, for the explanatory note, we have until. The 20th.
Hmm.
Or just before the 20th, to have a link to finish it. There's no
Mhm.
legal. Deadline for an
Yeah,
explanatory.
for this,
note.
yeah.
Or for the
it's just-
wigwag, we want to get
Right,
into.
so the wigwag is kind of our deadline.
Yeah.
To make
Okay.
sure.
So can we go back then to what it currently says and just make sure we're fine with that?
So,
And then,
Move
Leave it
on.
as is.
Okay.
Yeah,
smooth, okay. Okay,
you know, I think we should call it out, for sure. All right, we'll work with you on that and.
I'll have to do some digging on that, to see if. Currently, the way it's worded, right off the bat, I would say it's not allowed because it specifically says 1 or 2 bedrooms. Can be used in
For non-transient.
for non-transient
Right.
uses, yeah.
Well, maybe we've been applying the permit wrong. We need to check with Alicia to see.
Yep.
If anybody's been permitted.
Okay, are we all satisfied with this line?
Yes,
yeah,
Can we move on?
yes.
This is an important point, guys. I'm sorry.
well, but I
No,
think we looked it up and it
but I
said
think
that
we
it
beat it.
wasn't there, and
But
so,
we just included
but I
that.
mean,
It took
you
a
know,
while to
so
discuss this.
it's,
Include
it
that. and it's
I'm not
still-
complaining about
It's
it.
still not.
I'm
clear.
saying, is that satisfied,
Well,
satisfactory?
seems pretty clear.
Okay, any further comments or objections?
And number 6.
Number 6,
Accessory dwelling unit regulations, this will update our rules to match the recent state law changes. Allows 1 ADU per property, either attached or detached. Limits the ADUs, limits ADUs to a maximum size of 950 square feet.
That's very clear.
So the select board did not take action on this one yet, because we wanted to understand. That the issue we had in the definitions of ADUs, but I think that clarifies it, so I think we can we'll be able to move ahead in our meeting next week. To make a recommendation on this one. 3 and 6 were the only ones we did not move along.
Okay.
Yes. That's good because that's where all the action is. Okay, we're finished with 6. Number 7,
Number 7, parking delineation. This would require any new open parking area to be not only paved, which the town currently requires, but parking spaces to be delineated. This would not apply to 1 or 2 family dwelling unit, or a 2 family dwelling unit. Everyone good with that one?
sounds good.
Residential parking, this change updates the town parking rules for residential dwellings. Under state law, towns can require only 1 parking space per living unit. This amendment adjusts the zoning ordinance to meet that requirement. Amendment number 9, the ordinance currently allows for offsite parking to be located within 300 feet of residential uses and 1,000 feet of non-residential uses. This amendment will clarify where the measurement begins for off-street parking, and I do have to add where it's going to begin.
Mhm.
Then that language refers to the site attraction. Is that correct, rather than the boundary line?
Yes.
Or like the main entrance, 1,000 feet from there.
Or
right?
whatever it is
Yeah,
that's
it's-
attracting people to that location.
Where that
Go.
delineation
Yeah, I
begins.
think like
Check
the-
in or get tickets.
Well, but even or the main entrance, because if you're not, maybe you're not gonna use the facilities, but you're walking in and you're checking it. I mean, I don't know, cause if you're gonna go in, I think you can have you're not gonna, looking the adventure zone, for example, like you're not gonna rent skis or you're not gonna go and buy a ticket for anything. You're just kind of walking around or you're
Mhm.
enjoying the space the way they landscaped it. I mean, I don't know. I think like main entrance, not everybody, any attraction. You don't always buy a ticket.
How do
for
we
it.
define main entrance then? I'm not against. it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Understand.
I don't know. Yeah, maybe.
Isn't
okay.
that a
Okay.
building code thing
Um,
where you have
If it's
to?
a building, if main entrance to a building, but I think
Okay,
Kathy's talking
right.
about a main entrance
The
to
way
an
we
area.
worded
Open
it-
space, yeah,
the
yeah.
way we worded it, I believe covered both.
Because what we're trying to do is defeat the idea of putting the 1,000-foot measurement from some distant location such as a boundary line.
So
Because that just defeats the whole purpose of
It's
the,
like a main entrance though, or something.
So it
but
says
I don't-
main entrance or principal area as
Okay.
determined by the planning board for the parking area.
Okay.
I think
Measured
that's
along
good.
the shortest reasonable.
I think it just regurgitate that for the explanation, then it covers. And
Okay,
it
I
gives
think
the
that-
planning board a little leeway in the site plan. Review
yeah,
process.
but I think the key phrase there is as determined by the planning board.
Yeah.
And I'll reformat this after. So are we good with, that one?
Mhm.
Okay. 10 political signs, this isn't a substance change, this is just addition, to. It already says that, for RSA 664. The town does not regulate, legally permitted political signs. And it's further down in that explanation, and we just are gonna add it to the beginning, so that's very clear. So that's just additional spots that it's located. Good with that?
Mhm.
Amendment number 11, temporary residential signs. This amendment would allow residents to have one temporary sign on their property as long as it meets the existing sign rules. And then Margaret's comment, this would allow for sale signs on private property. Does this mean that every condo property owner has the right to put up a temporary sign on their property?
Well,
which they don't own the land.
yeah, the HOA would,
But the HOA
Yeah.
could put up a sign.
that's between the owner and the
Yeah.
HOA.
Yep.
Condominium homeowners associate, one sign per point of access from a town road.
Mhm.
This is specifically says single family and two family homes is what we're changing, not
Yes,
not
not condos.
not condos. Do you want to say instead of private property?
I would say the single,
On
Single.
single, or we,
and-
well, do we still have the two family? We don't have single family. So how do we define it now? Single family and two family. We took out two family homes. Did we change that?
is that now 2 residences?
One single family.
Yeah, see, this is where we still have family that was an earlier point, I think I was trying to make. We take family out, but we still have family in our zoning ordinance. I don't know how else you get, I don't know how. you get it.
Yeah, so that, I mean, that's okay, because we're not defining what family is. So you can use the word family, but you can't define what family is.
Okay, that's not a good practice. We can't, if you don't
That's state
define
law.
the term,
That
I
is-
know you're using.
That is state law that we
Okay.
can't, we
No, I get you. All right.
cannot define what family is, but we can
Okay.
use the word family. If that's the change,
All right.
then we can definitely do that for next year.
Well, that's not a good practice.
Did we take out two family? Did we take out two family? We have single and multi, but this table still says two family, so that should come out.
As multifamily,
Well, no, that's different.
well, multi-residence.
No, I think we just took it out completely for. We moved to,
Family residential unit.
did we move that to a two family, that's where we landed, right?
Two family residential unit.
And got rid of the two family, the other yeah.
Yes, because the dwelling. Two
Right.
family definition was a single family
So-
home with an ADU.
So the table should read single family and two family residential unit.
For like allowed uses and whatnot.
Right.
No, we're talking about signs.
Not permitted, right,
Yep,
and that table just needs to be changed. From two family homes to two family residential unit, because we took out two family homes. Exciting stuff, I know that.
No, it's the whole issue of knowing your ordinances. More about that later. No, I'm,
I know.
There we go, yeah, so we change it here,
you're laughing at.
yeah, so we're good, we did it, we just need to change it in the sign, the
That's-
temporary sign table. Yeah,
What would you expect?
that would, to me, that's just if the change is approved, then this would all follow anyway. Right?
Yes, yep,
We just have to make
So-
sure when we do the update that we catch this little one.
allowable permanent sign.
Here we are. It's up, I think it's,
Up higher or below this?
oh, no, sorry. I have it on page 31 of the current,
30. Oh,
of the current, I'm looking at yeah, there you go.
yeah, so we changed it here, but, the two.
You got it,
residential
okay,
units.
all right. You got it, great. So the explanation should say single family. Do we want to say with or without an ADU and two family residential units? Because that's we're changing that particular row.
Mhm.
From none to one. Just to be consistent. Yeah, so
Allow-
that's just what change.
Okay, and then my understanding is,
Family with or without an ADU and two-family
That's what
residential.
the table says. It's
Yeah.
exact replication of the
Yep.
table, so that should,
Perfect.
Each of us should receive, when this is done, when the voters have said yes, that what's in my binder now is becoming obsolete quickly.
Mhm.
And that everybody receive a new copy
Yes.
of the
Of the
Ordinance.
updated zoning ordinance.
ordinances.
yeah,
Yeah,
This is
yeah,
the last
I
one.
know what you're doing. Actually, I should be doing
No.
the same.
Everyone will receive, depending on what passes and what doesn't, everyone will receive clean copies.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, this has to go.
I'll add to that. Alicia actually printed all my stuff out for me in 3-hole punch it. Like last year or something, and yeah, to that point, but just so everybody knows. Yeah, you can ask the town to do that for you, because it's a lot of toner and a lot of punching. If you don't.
Telling me, I was going through paper like this, and it's in preparations for the meetings. Yeah,
That's why our budget is overdone.
it is. That's why we're over budget.
It's unique.
Amendment
That's
12.
why I'm burned out. Yeah.
So we're good on amendment 11?
Okay, moving on.
Right, so 12, maintenance of structure. So currently we require.
Sorry.
yards.
Can we go back? I knew there was something else. Is it, oh, wait, for sale sign, not only for sale signs, right?
Allow.
Isn't it any sign?
Allow signs,
Yeah,
Allow
temporary signs, there we go. Yeah,
Allow allowable permanent signs, 1 sign per lot, limited to 9 square feet.
so
So it'll just be signs.
signs.
Can I say something about that?
hello, Margaret.
Um,
Yes, please.
I think the main change is that we have never allowed for sale signs on private property before. We have never allowed them. This is a big change.
Point that out.
Well, we're doing it because
The state says.
the state says so.
No,
Right,
No, this is
No.
no.
this is.
this is we decided we wanted to be fair to single-family homeowners and two-family homeowners. And give them the same right that multifamily homeowners, condominium homeowners have. To allow at least one sign. So it's not, this is, right, and Mark is absolutely correct, this should be called out as a change.
Okay,
And it's a big change because it means we can have signs all over the valley.
So do we want to list out? This would allow 1 permitted sign, including but not limited to for sale signs, and then add a few more examples
Yeah.
in there. And then
Yeah.
on single family.
all right. Is this,
Well,
did this emanate from the select board?
no, came out of here.
I have a question.
John, you have a question?
Temporary, define temporary.
It's in the,
How many
Okay.
days?
it's in there,
It's
It's in the definition.
yeah.
Temporary signs may be displayed once. Temporary signs may be displayed once for a maximum period of 14 days and require a permit. The
And then
permit
you get one out.
be extended for 1 additional period. Once a sign is displayed for 28 days, it must be removed.
How long does it have to be removed before they can go back and get another?
That's, I don't know.
I don't think we can-
Not defined, so they could just apply for a permit again?
And it could get denied by the discretion of the.
You've already had 2 whacks at it, I have to look at the permit. I don't think we have it.
It's up to the code enforcement officer, I believe, to issue the permit.
Okay,
So if he says, look, you've had 2 signs already, not gonna give you a third.
I'd have to go back and look at the permit, it's a good question, I don't know the answer to that.
Yeah, I've actually done that for an event, and yeah, I had to go at the time I went to Mark. There's just like a form that you fill out requesting, and then you have to wait for that to come back to you saying, yes, okay, you can put up a sign.
Okay.
That's how it works today.
Yeah,
Just
but
FYI.
yeah, I think what Morgan's saying is you can game the system by wait a day and then
Mhm.
reapply and do it for another 28 days.
I'm just saying there's the discretion, just like there is for
Yeah,
the zoning.
it maybe we
enforcement.
do it by I just don't know.
The permit's really basic. Name of applicant, address,
Yeah.
telephone, fee of $25, type of sign, size of sign, location,
Right.
date and time to install and set up, date to be removed, method
Right.
of illumination, estimated cost of construction. Then attach a color copy of the sign. That's it.
So it's
Simple
probably
stuff.
discretion. You got the,
Yeah, I think if,
I think they will be seen as trying to game the system.
Mhm.
yeah, and I think Chief Noise would be
Right,
the perfect person to,
right. And if someone
Yeah.
complains, they would just come to the select board and
Yeah.
tell us.
I think we're good.
enforcement issue. Got it.
Yeah, but I think we need to get back to Margaret's point. I think we gotta come to some language here.
You have to put it in the explanation sheet, yes,
Yeah,
that it is a new right.
well.
This amendment will now allow.
Well, this will allow
All.
all is what we were trying, it was all based on fairness, as I recall. And it came out of the discussion we had about a sign issue we had this summer. When it wasn't a for sale sign. And it came up as an issue. Rail residents, it would allow residents, it's really in any residential zone, right? Is that what we're trying to say?
Any
In a-
single, any single family
Or,
or a two-family residential unit to
Right.
have one temporary sign. That's what the zoning ordinance.
right, existing sign, I think at that point you put
You want me to go back to?
what the change is, right? This is what you have to say. Prior to this, this was not an allowed or permitted, however you want to say it, right? For,
But it's not important, just make it a separate bullet point and say exactly that,
yeah, no, that's what I'm.
without people digging through it, yeah.
That's what she's doing.
Okay.
But is then this reference to HDR, LDR?
Not really, because you have single family homes in. No, they are yes, I'm sorry, yes, because you have single family homes in HDR,
I don't think it's.
you have single family homes in
I'm
VC,
gonna-
that's
I'm gonna
right.
work into
Attach
this.
that to the previous
You have
sentence.
single
You
family
have
homes in VC.
And you
Yes,
could even highlight it if you wanted, like, this is a change.
Okay,
this was an attempt, previous years, the bottom line here is that, folks here did not want real estate signs, for sale signs in basically
LDR, yeah. Understood.
But allowed it in others because you had condominiums and we regulated where they can put, the condominium association can have one sign per point of access to the road.
So to read this amendment will allow single family.
You think the with or without ADU kind of confuses things? Is
Yeah.
it really necessary to say that?
Single family homes and a two-family residential unit to have one temporary sign on their property as long as it meets
Meets
existing
existing.
sign rules, which was not previously allowed.
Sounds good.
Simple talk.
I missed most of that discussion because there's a power failure at my house. So
Yeah.
I'm
It's a
on-
power.
They said
Is it?
Thursday
Yeah,
at 10
from-
o'clock.
Yes.
12, yeah, 10.
so I'm on satellite now.
Okay.
Wow, Margaret,
So,
satellite.
Very sophisticated.
if you can't see the screen, amendment number 11 for the temporary signs, will now read, this amendment will allow single-family homes and a two-family residential unit to have one temporary sign on their property as long as it meets the existing sign rules, which was not previously allowed. And then the second bullet point is, this would allow one permitted sign, including but not limited to for sale signs, and then I'll add a few more examples in there, on single family residential properties, single family.
I think you should single family homes
Single-
in,
single
just try to keep that language the same as the table, maybe, except the ADU, I think that does confuse it.
This would allow one permitted sign including but not limited to for sale signs for single family homes in a two-family residential unit.
Does that keep Patty happy?
Another example would be open house signs.
Wait, number 2. I'll read it.
Sale.
Do you wanna say real estate signs?
No,
You wanna
I'd rather call attention to the fact that it's for sale signs that are the things that's new, that we're gonna allow those.
And like yard sale.
We sort of have allowed open house
Yeah,
if the selectmen approved it on,
town right away.
on town property, on the right of way.
I think et cetera.
Yards. That's antiquated. Everything's in a state sale.
One permitted sign.
I like yard sale.
So this would allow one permitted sign including but not limited to for sale, open house and yard sale signs for single family homes in a two-family residential unit.
Do we wanna say such as? But you know, because they included but not limited to is kind of a legal way of saying it. This is the explanatory.
Yeah, so, I just want to, so if we say such as, I don't want them to think that's only those specific ones, so such.
Including but not limited to.
Well,
Yeah,
this,
no, whatever, I just raised the point,
I
yeah.
have another question.
John has a question.
Will this now allow contractors to put up signs, landscapers to put up their signs? We're doing work at this home, blah, blah, blah.
As long as they get a permit.
Yes, they already have that. Right for completed condominiums, homeowners associations. But if yes, it would allow those signs. Yes,
So
They're-
would that be better?
with the permit.
That is, after what, 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Have to be removed.
Can we just say with permit or something, so people, oh yeah, no, this would allow
One permitted
permitted sign,
sign.
yes, okay.
Yeah, this would allow
Yeah,
one permitted sign,
sign,
for example,
right.
but not limited to
Yeah.
for sale, open house and yard sale signs. for
You don't
single-family
need the
homes.
semicolon there.
We're almost there.
Does that work?
Yeah, well, yeah. What do you think, Margaret?
Yeah, that's fine.
So move on to the next one.
12.
12. So this is adding structure to maintenance. The landscaping and property maintenance section currently requires yards and exterior areas and buildings to be maintained. This amendment will include structures to also be maintained. Because a structure can be a building, but a building cannot be a structure.
Yeah.
So this we were adding so that maintain everything.
Yes. Right,
Yeah.
because we changed the definition of.
Yeah.
We have structure. So
Yes.
we
Clarified, yeah.
clarified structure. So that it reads structure for height, not building.
Yes, and it could mean anything that's erected off with an elevation change,
Right,
so.
yeah, that is fine.
I'm sorry, and this may just be me, but I'm confused by one permitted sign. I know what we're saying. But it also, if a permitted sign is a for sale sign, an
Mhm.
open house, it doesn't say to me you have to get a permit. It says we permit for sale signs, you know,
Okay.
That's, okay, we can make it more clear. That's, I guess in our language, that's what it means.
right, I understand what you're saying.
With permit,
One
With the
sign by
With
permit.
permit, yeah.
or by permit, one sign by permit, or with a permit,
Yeah.
and or do it, this required by permit, yeah.
Which,
Required.
This means you must get a permit.
Right.
If, that's, because we're trying to make this just,
Well, we're trying to keep it short too, because he's trying to get this all into
yeah, that's what I,
3
this,
pages,
you
yeah.
have to get a permit for
Five and-
this,
Is that-
for that.
Obtaining an approved permit.
I'm fine with it. If we're looking for short,
I
it
understand.
requires a permit. You may have a lot, I mean, you're trying to get
That's
this
what
on
I'm
3
saying,
pages,
just say it.
Yep.
which requires a permit.
So this would allow one sign, for example, but not limited to for sale, open house and yard sale signs for single family homes and a 2-family residential unit, which requires an approved permit.
I would move which requires an approved permit to right after sign.
But then you can make that a new sentence. For example, this is, or this is not limited to. For example, this would not be limited to, or some examples. Yeah, that kind of screws it up.
Examples include.
It's just not a complete sentence, that's all.
For sale, open house and yard sale signs, etc., for single family homes.
Yeah, it's not a sentence, but that's okay. Have to be grammatically correct.
You could say an example would be for sale
Examples would
or something like that.
Examples include.
include, if you like, you wanted to do that, include before.
Sure. Examples include for sale.
Yeah.
Open house. And yard sale signs, etc.
If you want to save that one little line, a unit, take out approved. You might get it in. Trying
What's
to
that?
take out approved, it's understood, requires a permit. Permit is by, yeah,
There you
Is
go.
the approval.
is the approved, right,
This
A
would
permit.
allow
A
one
permit.
sign which requires.
A permit.
Permit. Examples include for sale
Yeah.
sign, for sale,
Two
open
signs,
house and
yeah.
yard sale signs, etc. For single family homes and a 2-family residential unit.
Yep. Okay,
Rob,
Uh,
you're good,
I'll say my comments.
okay,
but this is the perpetual problem of words.
well, but they're important in zone.
Oh, it is. I'm not arguing that,
An
that we
explanation.
shouldn't spend time on this. I agree.
And
But-
once I finish all the changes, I'm gonna send it out to you guys and then you guys can. Shoot me back an email and say, hey, what about this? And I can put the changes in like I did Margaret's, just in purple, and then we can discuss it.
Well, we'll have to have a special meeting then to discuss it, if there are any.
Oh, right,
Because
because,
we won't be
once a
able,
month.
we won't be able to get it before the next town meeting.
or I can give you guys a deadline of, you guys have 1 week.
Yep,
I'll get all your comments, I will send it out to the board, and then if you guys reply to me simply,
yeah, that it's
that-
considered approved.
Well, but how do I say I don't,
You wouldn't see
Isn't
why,
that what this is?
you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I see what you're saying.
well, so I'll give you guys 1 week to submit your comments
our
to me.
comment, right?
Yeah, and
then,
then I will compile all the comments in purple, so
Right,
you won't know who made the comment, but it'll
right,
be shown that it's made, and then I'll send that back out. And if the board says yes or no,
but what if we get like 3 yeses, 2 nos, and I
a
mean.
majority would rule,
That's
We
kind of
defer
weird,
to
but-
the chairman.
and if I.
He makes the final call.
oh,
We just know that.
Yeah.
that's fair
Good
enough.
idea.
Yeah, that, what that
There's
does
no
is saves
discussion
us a
on that.
special meeting.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's no discussion on that.
Yep.
But we are under
There's no
time crunch. You
changes
have
at
to
the
give
planning
up a
board.
little bit of control in order to get things moving.
Yeah,
There's
so-
no discussion. I would. be
All in
against-
This is
favor
all
of moving
discussion.
toward an autocracy.
Okay.
No, I think if there's some changes, we should have a meeting and discuss it,
That's fine.
unless they're minor.
Yeah.
No,
Does everybody else agree with that?
No, I'm fine with Bill
I-
making a
I-
final
I
call.
don't-
but you're not doing your job, but anyway.
Yeah, we are doing our job right here now. We're trying to streamline the process so that we can make. the
No, I
work.
agree with now, but I'm saying that if people want to make changes afterward, then the board should meet to discuss those changes. That's it.
No,
If it's
that's,
substantive
We've
change.
talked about
that's
lots of
the-
changes, so what specific change are we going to submit comments for?
I think it'll be
The
minor.
definitions is the only
Minor,
thing that
There may be none,
be included, yeah, it might be none,
there may be none,
and then we wouldn't need,
we need to meet.
Okay.
Yep,
We only have the power to act as a board, but anyway.
Yeah, I understand the rules of democracy and that, no, but it's, no, it's not a laughing matter. It's the way it ought to be, but nonetheless, we have to meet the deadline. Okay, we got to number 12, which is, I don't care what you build,
Yep.
it's gonna be maintained.
Yes.
And we should write that. Okay, where are we now?
Amendment 13, zoning designation amendment, and this is the
Hmm.
White Mountain Athletic Club requesting. That their property is located at 98 Valley Road, be rezoned from special civic district to village commercial to better match the uses of the property.
Yeah,
Bang.
no
Yeah.
problem.
And then
Next.
14 is just minor grammar formatting corrections.
Okay.
Okay,
I think we accomplished this.
Yep.
Okay, I think we have a much better document.
And we did 2 bullet
you,
items
guys.
on the agenda at once.
Look at that.
So, Patty Fergal wish she could be here today, but, so one thing she just wanted to, suggest is, you know, last year, I'm just gonna read what she wrote, okay. Excuse me, I believe last year was much better with the handout, and the town warrant each included both the zoning amendment number and the town article number for each proposed amendment. So we want them to match. Not sure if there's an easier solution, but please discuss with Steve if you have any suggestions. He's in the process of drafting the town warrant, which I agree. I think it's important that the numbers match, you know, what these people see, you know, so there's no confusion.
we can do that.
Well, so it's two separate things because there's there's one thing that comes before zoning ordinance amendments. But the amendment number is the first change in the zoning ordinance, so it's always going to start off at warrant article number 2. At at the lowest, and then, but it's the first amendment of the zoning ordinance. So if we did, it's warrant article number 2. And amendment number 2, well, where's amendment number 1?
So,
Good night.
when we have, okay, go ahead.
I did it last year.
Okay.
So it was warrant article number 2, amendment number
So
1.
just write that in this explanatory note
If
as
that's
well.
what
Yes.
the
Title?
consensus
Okay.
is, if that's what
Yep.
you're meaning.
Right, when I was at the table last year, there was always people who complained about this. And so, yes, we have to. There's nothing we can do about it, it's just that this one here corresponds to that one there.
The select board will be putting together the warrant next Wednesday, so we will just.
And then,
Okay, sure.
but then on our explanation
Yep.
sheet, you'll.
I'll just,
Okay.
warrant article number 2. Zoning ordinance amendment 1, permissive zoning.
Yeah,
Right,
So that they'll be able to see, okay, this is warrant article number 2 for the zoning ordinance 1,
Right.
the first amendment.
But-
Okay.
but the way they vote is on the warrant article,
Yes, so.
so that's what they have to understand. Next item on the agenda,
Just real quick.
I'm sorry,
Oh, yeah, I'm glad that you were checking with Patty, because I've been sitting here thinking, tell me if I'm wrong, that Patty had done wigwag on warrant articles before. Right? I thought I remember her doing that.
Last year, that was I was tasked with doing that information sheet for the wigwag and then Mike reached out to me and said, Patty's also doing this as the moderator.
That's
Do we
right.
need both? And
Okay.
I was like, I can't answer because we're not in a meeting, so just put both in.
That's right, yeah. But to the point is, Patty seems somebody who's not involved in the detail. Because I remember reading hers, and I think they kind of matched pretty good, but somebody who can plain speak as, you know, and Patty's just such a good communicator.
Mhm.
And I thought that was, you know, good. Just in the future, maybe we want to have somebody who isn't thinking about the language of the ordinance, but understands them enough to make
Yeah.
it plain speak. So just for
No
next year.
muss. No muss.
not problem.
what did you say, Margaret?
She's talking to the dog.
Just talking to her.
Oh, I'm sorry,
Were you talking about that in terms of?
most
the
important
wigwag
communication.
article? Or-
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Well, and also just to, you know, check off on our verbiage. You know, because, you know, we're staring at what does it mean?
Plain language.
It means you can't put signs and especially sale signs on your lawn. That's it. That's what it means to an average person who probably of the, what, 20% of the people in the town who actually get there to vote. You
Yeah,
know,
You get-
those aren't everybody we're talking to.
Yeah, remember, you're gonna get more because this is part of the official ballot process. It's not the business or discussion section in the evening, so.
Yeah.
What we've done in the past to get at that is to assign planning board members to the polls, to be there, to answer
Yeah.
any question. So I think you guys need to do that. I can't be part of that because I have to be there as my select board hat.
okay, let's talk
It's
about
just
that
a-
now.
Just a talk.
Yeah, that's another way to
One thing we,
get at it. Where, you're right.
one thing
Sorry.
we need to do is set up the schedule for who's gonna be at the table during voting
Yes,
day.
that's what I'm talking
Is that what you mean
Lunchtime,
by?
you always wanna be there around lunchtime,
about.
hands down the best.
All right, last year we divided it up into what?
We're probably gonna have
2-hour
the polls
segments?
from 11 to
Five.
5.
5, yeah, we start counting at 5.
11 to 5. Because there are no other, there are only municipal offices up.
What day?
There are no, it's Tuesday, March 10th. So it's that 6-hour period. We haven't decided, this is what we're gonna talk to Patty about, but in pre-discussions of our discussion, I think we were looking at 11 to 5. So that's 6 hours.
She's already put out a schedule, yeah, for like I'm
For ballot
I'm ballot
clerks, yep.
clerking and counting already, so she's already.
Yeah,
done-
right,
You know.
but
Yeah,
yeah, it is
Okay.
that's nice,
So-
but the select board has to actually, that's.
All right, so we divide it into, say, 11 to 1, 1 to 3, 3 to 5.
How are you?
All right, I'm
2
doing
hours
it.
slot.
All right, and then we need, well, it's better if there are 2 people at the table. Who would like to do 11 to 1?
I can do it.
I'll do 11 to 1.
All right. we'll do it today.
Okay, Bill and Rob. Who would like to do 1 to 3?
Mike,
All right, I'll put Mike there.
I can't do any of them, I'm working.
and I'm already ballot clerking there and counting later, so.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
something.
there.
They have to double up.
Yeah.
Well, you got 11.
Don't put me with Mike.
no,
That'd be fair.
I'll go with Mike.
Yes. Yeah,
Bill.
the neophyte.
Bill, I'll go with Mike. What is it, 1 to 3?
1 to 3. Okay, Alan. And Mike.
It's Tuesday, that.
Oh, wait, Tuesday is pickleball.
Mike will come up with some reason why he can't do it.
No, it wouldn't be
Not
that day.
that
They'll be canceled.
Yeah.
Cancel that.
Cancel. Half day school.
Are you playing today?
I can't.
They
We
need
gotta
3 to
drive.
5.
So you need 3 to 5.
I'm looking for victims for 3 to 5.
Obviously. I'll-
John Racine,
Yeah,
he's not here.
you could do.
John, you're,
This should be part of the permanent member, I mean, unless you got like. Kathy
okay,
or me,
I'm gonna all,
Ballot duties.
you wanna volunteer a second time?
No.
Well, I could throw John into this mix.
Yeah.
John and
Two
John?
Johns. And
Don't
he'll,
delay.
he'll actually know
Yeah.
what he's.
You just have to make sure that the people you're volunteering don't have other duties that day.
Right,
Of
he's
course.
also on Concom.
And I'm gonna be sending some
Well, he's out.
emails,
So.
especially
should
to
not
Mike.
be
Or Margaret.
Concom rep.
No, Margaret,
She's an
No,
alternate.
she's an alt, yeah, she's on.
Oh,
Well, why couldn't an alternate do it? John's an
I'm
alternate.
supervisor of the checklist that day.
Absolutely not.
Yeah. Yeah, so.
We're gonna
Well.
be busy.
Nancy still would be with us technically.
Nancy's there.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm not sure if I can do it that day. I guess I should check my calendar.
One last hurrah.
Oh, no, we're not gonna, we're not letting
You've got the
Nancy out of
6.
the,
Why don't you
You
have
got
to
time,
go with the
John.
6 people you have and
Yeah.
then Nancy can let you know if she's available in case
I
someone
will.
can make it. the last
Okay.
minute.
Okay, that's the 10th, right? Yeah.
Yes.
okay,
I'll be off the slopes.
good. Now,
Jill, could I reopen something before we move? Because Alicia's here and had a question when she wasn't here.
go ahead.
Yes.
Alicia, do you know if we permit STRs in ADUs now?
Um,
Do you recall from the
Well-
permitting process?
We,
Like someone has a garage above a,
None of them are, as far as I know. There's been only one, like ADU, and it's not a short-term rental,
Yeah.
it is a long-term.
I
so
think
there
so.
no one's been permitted,
For a short-term rental in an ADU,
right?
no, because the only ADU, no, right now is. They're renting it as a long-term.
So all the STR goes with
Condos
single
or
family homes.
single-family home.
Okay, thank you.
Good.
Yes, sir.
Zoning amendments for the 26-27 season. And in the interest of time, I put two suggestions here, one that I think deserve our attention immediately. And that is landscaping and architectural consistency. That is one of the difficulties that arose in a previous application. I'm referring to the condominium, what's the name of?
The villas.
It's called the Villas. Okay, yes, at a Golden Heights. And the discussion argument occurred over landscaping. And one of the difficulties that occurred during those meetings was there wasn't enough specificity in the landscaping ordinance to be able to say to the builder, you must do this. And the builder had considerable leeway, flexibility, ideas that he could implement on his own. And one of the things that has come up time and again is landscaping, i.e. screening. And to what extent do we want to be specific about screening? Because without the specificity, that is, we don't say you must plant trees every 10 feet and they must be 6 to 8 or whatever, it doesn't happen. And then that's one of the fundamental problems with ordinances. And one of the things that I will talk about later in the meeting, and that it is, well, I think in our best interest to be as specific. One of the things we learned from the last application is that if it's not specifically in the ordinance, it cannot be enforced, yeah, but okay, implemented.
so, the good thing about that is, the landscaping and screening, that's located in the site plan regs, so that
Yes.
could be changed at, any point in time during the year, after a public hearing. So, the landscaping, the biggest hurdle, I think, is what is considered to be sufficient. Because sufficient is used throughout the landscaping and screening section.
Yes,
So, yeah, definitely.
that's what
narrowing
I'm
it
trying
down.
to nail down more specificity of what, because sufficient, well,
Sufficient
doesn't
and
work.
adequate. Right.
Sufficient and adequate. It's the same as these statements that we find in the master plan. That we say, we want it to be consistent with the town and that it's the beauty of our surroundings and all of that. That they generally refer to as aspirational statements. They cannot be, I'll use the word, enforced. And unless we come to, now, the question that I have for Liz is a site plan regulation, is that as effective with respect to enforcement as a zoning ordinance?
Mhm.
Yes,
Yes, because it's a condition. So as a condition. They have to meet all of the criteria when they submit a site plan. So if the landscaping says that, we want. And I have to look at how specific we can get per state law. But if the site plan says, if you have 200 feet of road frontage. You need to, and you're building a structure that's 40 feet tall. The landscaping that needs to be planted has to go in at 25 feet or 30 feet tall. And I will get I'll get the specifics on how narrowed down we can get it.
Okay, that's very important because,
Mhm.
you know, we don't want to spend our time talking about specificity if
Yep.
if it goes before the court and the court denies it.
Mhm.
Right, is it? Yes.
Can I ask Liz a question?
Mhm.
If this board passes a zoning amendment today, can somebody come in tomorrow with a plan that ignores what we passed today because it hasn't been voted on at
No.
town meeting?
So, and I hate this time of year because if there is a plan that's submitted today and it goes against any of what the warrant articles are, they have to abide by those warrant articles, because if it's passed at town vote, then they're retroactive to the date of the public hearing. If they're denied or they get turned down, if they disapprove the town's vote says no, then it's null and void. So this time of year is always like a.
It's a limbo.
See if we can push it till after the town vote, because if it does pass, then it needs to meet these requirements backdated to the public hearing time. If it doesn't pass, then you can disregard it.
Okay, so to
Interesting.
me, the operative phrase there was backdated to the public hearing, even though it didn't pass town meeting yet.
Correct.
Thank you.
Yes, that is.
Yes, so currently, all of the amendments that have been proposed are active until town vote. Yeah,
Okay.
So we could say to an applicant that you must do these things, but then if it's not voted in, then the applicant could say, I will now disregard all of your previous comments.
yes.
You have to make it though, if it's conditions of approval. Because there's some conditions of approval that necessarily are above and beyond an ordinance.
Well, at this point, right, we wouldn't even be able to do an application for a town meeting.
I mean, I always try, well, you could, somebody could. Definitely apply now.
But isn't our meeting not till after town meeting?
March.
The next one?
Yes,
Next.
It's March 10th and then we meet March 12th.
You guys meet March 12th,
Right.
or here, we do.
For the
And when
planning
is your
board.
town vote?
March 10th.
Oh, so
So like
then,
it
we're good.
wouldn't, they wouldn't be able to.
No.
Anyone that's called with like actual building plans, I've said that, I've said, look, these are the zoning ordinances up, take a look at them, because right now.
Yeah.
This is what you gotta go with, it might not pass, but it might.
Right.
And the one or two people I have just decided to wait and see what happens,
Mhm.
because they don't wanna do it twice.
Right.
Right,
Mhm, makes
and
sense.
that's what I kind of recommend to anyone who is applying. To try to,
Yeah.
sway them to hold off until after town vote, because it's well, it might pass and then you would have to follow it, or it might not, and then you're good to
And
go.
you're doing it twice.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep.
All right, is there anyone who would be like to assist Liz with landscaping investigation? What if you want to dig into it and learn more about? Or we'll leave it to Liz.
Well, Mike, somebody, I mean, I know
These are
John Racine's not
examples.
here, but he's also Conservation
Yes.
Commission too. think
I
that
would have
be a
leaned down
good,
John to say,
Partnership.
yeah, with Liz about how to make our site plan review regulations, or i.e. ordinance, more effective with regard to screening and landscaping.
aren't you not forming a working group? Should you get a couple people in, Liz, just like you have a working group for the architecture?
Right now, I got a working group of one.
Well,
Somebody
you
else was with
volunteered
you,
to help them,
right?
didn't you? On the architectural,
I
but I remember.
volunteered for, yeah, right. I volunteered for something else, but.
I mean, I'll volunteer for it with like, for John and, but I do feel like the Conservation Commission should be a part of it.
Yes,
I
Yeah.
just think the knowledge is there.
I do too.
Yeah.
And an interest.
Well, you could have, remember, John is planning board. He's our rep. to the
Right, it would be a
conservation.
working group for the planning board, but he has the knowledge from the concert,
Well, I was going with this, that you could invite in a conservation commission member.
Or some
rather
other
than-
expert.
And that's, I think that may be the better thing to do. I mean, you can have John, but I think you should
Well, yeah, you, like we did with Linda Coleman when we
Bring
did
in-
the others,
you should
any,
ask.
we can have a slack of better.
You can,
words.
you can ask anybody, actually, if you think there are other people.
Yeah.
I
Well,
think
the
we
working
should wait for John, ask him and
I
he'll
do
know.
too.
Okay,
But
The,
I think the
other
working
people.
group, excuse me, finish? Go ahead.
yeah, no, I was gonna say, he would know better than any of us here today, the better people to bring into that group.
But we are limited to 3, are we not?
No, for planning board.
3 planning board
For planning
members,
board,
yes.
Yes, but so you only have 2, but you can bring in any number of people after
Other,
that.
other quote,
Non-planning board.
non-planning board
Right.
experts.
And frankly, I would just go to the, chair of the Conservation Commission, Paul. And let him know we're forming this committee and ask him to talk about it at the next meeting. and
At
see
his
if-
meeting, yes,
At his meeting and see if there's anybody who would like to join this working group.
okay.
That sort of the
Uh,
normal bureaucratic way to do it.
Catherine, are you in on this?
I'm fine, I just don't, I generally don't like, my business experience, everything, groups more than 4, your decision process
No argument there.
degrades, so, I just wanna make it, like 3 to 4 people. So, other
Okay,
than that, but
1,
with
2,
2, 3, and
3.
then conservation, another
And
person.
then
That's
ask
fine.
for maybe
Yeah.
some input from conservation, but then that's it. Otherwise, it's,
That's
I
me.
agree with you.
Yes, sir. Who is the work, you?
Catherine,
Well,
John.
John Racine. and
John's
then-
been victimized.
And.
And Liz. Liz is going
And
to
then we'll-
investigate
and then-
what's available
and
from state law.
Juan.
And then I will reach out to Paul Ricotta.
Yeah, and actually, they don't have to be at every meeting, right? You can bring
Oh, no.
people in
It's just for their input.
for their input on a particular topic. You may
Maybe
want
he
to
knows
consider-
something about, you know,
Well,
Well, there might be somebody else too on the conservation.
Yeah.
well, but don't just think boards, right? Think businesses like, someone who does landscaping,
So
to reach out to them to help.
Kelly Cannon is part of some other boards.
Yeah.
She's got a
She'd be a good one.
degree in alpine ecology, so.
That would be a good one.
Yeah.
See, just
Yeah,
not
I know.
just
I know Kelly. Yeah.
either a member or call her into particular topics.
Let's see.
I was like, what are you talking about?
A wide net is good, actually,
I agree with you.
at least for the discussion. Then you can
Well,
narrow
we
it
didn't
down.
bring in more
Then you can narrow
expertise.
it down to 3 principles for any voting you do.
and then recommendations for
The planning.
how we can apply this to regulation.
I would do the same.
Well,
with-
we're going from the first viewpoint of a site regulation.
Site plan.
Yeah, because that's an easier path, so, yeah.
Yeah, it's
Get
quicker.
into it
Yeah,
that way.
yeah.
It's quicker.
Yeah.
As what I had in mind, a target is any of our regulations that are non-specific. That don't say that specifically these things need to be done. Because, well, here's the experience of is the Golden Heights. And then Green Peak, the Green Peak development. We weren't specific about. There are a lot of things you can say about the Green Peak development. But one of them is that you can stand on Devereaux Road and look around and it's anywhere USA.
Mhm. That's a
No.
fair point.
It's what is specific about, we're trying to say that this is a special place. And that there's something unique about this valley and about this little town sitting here. And how are we going to preserve that? How are we going to make this?
Where you're bringing in the architectural too, right?
I'm going to talk about that next.
But I mean, that, you mentioned Devereaux, but that's part of it too.
Oh, it is. Yeah, now look, is it? I don't know. Okay, I've been here 8 years. And I've been struggling with these applications and approvals. But if you look at what has happened recently, here we have Green Peaks, you have 3 large brown condominiums. And the rest of it is an assortment of gray, green with white trim. And it all looks like anywhere USA, other than these 3 sitting there in the middle of it. That, I don't know, grates me. That's my personal opinion. The board doesn't have personal opinions, right, Liz? But,
No, we have personal opinions. There's nothing in front of us.
Currently you can,
no, because that's been pounded into me
But-
throughout this application process to the point
Yes.
where,
with any application.
There's no
there's
application in
no
front of us, so
personal
you can
opinion.
express your personal opinion about anything.
It's just a matter of experience, but, you know, what I have to say on the matter is that were in front of us again, would any of you be inclined to approve that?
I would not ask that question, Bill.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
not a good.
Everybody
question.
remains silent.
Okay.
Well,
Pardon me,
I think-
2 hours.
I do this,
Going forward.
but I do this with some regularity, you know, like,
Yeah.
like you have been in too many business meetings. And now we're in a civic government environment. And you have to be very careful about what you say. But in any case, you know, that's one of the items that comes up from time to time, and you're having discussions with other people around town and such. How did that happen? And then you look at the Golden Heights business, and it was once upon a time, there was another developer, Ben Laguerre, who said to us that he wants to build smaller homes on smaller houses on smaller lots, something that he referred to as a cottage court. And, you know, we proposed it and it was voted down, and now,
Then we ended up with
With
that.
the villas, yeah. So, Bill. Where
What?
are we?
I think John
Yeah,
has
we're
something
gonna-
to say.
that's
the-
what I'm,
get the
that's
group
what I'm getting
together.
to. The next thing on the, is architectural consistency or architectural balance. And is it consistent with all of these things that we worked for 2 years on the master plan? And we wrote all of this material into the master plan, pages and pages of how we want the town to look.
And it has no legal.
So is that
The master
John's
plan.
working group?
That's
Well,
when-
John brought the
Updated.
subject up in a meeting 2 or 3 times ago, where you showed interest in the term that I'm using is architectural balance. Where can you find, Liz will help you.
well, originally I got the Bristol,
Yes.
Bristol, so-
Again, you know, former working group,
I'm doing it.
Yes.
It's what's happening.
I
but
think
bring in other people.
everybody has their viewpoint on what's architecturally beautiful and what they require. My sense, and when I spoke at the previous, I guess it was select board meeting, whatever, regarding the previous applicant, that's been the talk of the town, was that Mark had always told me, we have minimal standards here, unfortunately, in our rules, regulations, and things like that, and that begets developers with minimal standards. I'll do as little as I possibly can to get the job accomplished. Damn the aesthetic value of it. And so I think it's imperative upon us as a planning board to say, hey, we're gonna raise those minimal standards. It doesn't mean that everybody has to look the same, but you know what? If I started with redwood construction that Mike and his wife are in, and then all of a sudden you want to put up green and blue around it, is that what we want? And, you know, it may be, but you know what, the materials, the landscaping, the view from the.
That's
the
exactly
roads.
what we're talking
Well,
about.
you know, we do have our, you know, Article 5, Section N, there's 2 pages of architectural regulations, so. That's your entree point.
Is
We
it,
also have to make sure
It fits with.
to add structure as well, because
Yeah.
I believe currently it's just buildings.
Yeah, we have to make that change.
Because I think in the last 5 years, it's according to my discussion with Bill, we've had time and time again where we're bemoaning previous things we've done and allowed because the standards that we've set are
insufficient?
minimal. And
Yeah.
so, you know, whether it's the,
You too?
I don't know,
You seem to be,
Yeah.
what's the word I'm looking for?
You're saying
Compatible?
something like we,
Possessed with this issue.
Enthusiastic.
Yeah, seized, that's what I'm looking for. You're
What?
seized with this issue. That's how it's said, right?
No, I'm not
Architectural
I'm
standards.
not seized with
The
anything
net
anymore.
parking.
I've been seized. Yeah.
Do you want to talk about parking? Sure.
Come on, parking.
so I have a question, Bill. So the zoning, the discussion improvements of landscaping and architecture. So we've got 2 working groups here. Is this just our starting point of what we
Yes.
want to do our workload for this next year?
I put these
So-
2 on the agenda
okay.
because I think it's the 2 areas of our zoning ordinances that are weak.
Okay, so
If you have other suggestions, I'm happy to hear them.
The landscaping we can adopt at any time once the board feels comfortable after a
Okay.
public hearing. The architectural regulations are in the zoning ordinance. So that would be for town vote,
Okay,
just so that we know timeline, what we're looking
Yeah,
at.
I put here that it's for the 26-27 season. Yeah, we're not gonna like accomplish anything now, but it's gonna take time as well to develop any modifications to the ordinance that we think will be adequate. You don't even want to use that word anymore, but they would be able to achieve the architectural balance that we want in the town. And can't do anything about what has happened, but we can sure do something about what might happen in the future.
Does it require it at a town meeting,
No.
any changes, or could we do it come July? We've come. to
Zoning,
it
is-
to-
you have to get the vote, I think Liz just said.
Yeah, landscaping is site plan, not zoning.
Yep.
But if it's, but
Architectural is zoning, not.
so that would be for next town meeting, yes,
But no,
Be a year from now.
the architectural.
yes, yes.
Architectural.
Landscape.
we may modify site plan review regulations without going to town meeting.
Okay.
Is that correct, Liz?
What's that?
We can review and change site plan review regulations without going to town meeting.
Yes.
Correct.
As long as
You
they,
just have to hold the public hearing and then after the public
they-
hearing.
Yes,
we
well,
adopt
we
it.
have always the public hearing process, yes.
as long as they're consistent with.
So we don't have to wait.
With the zoning, yeah.
Correct.
Depends
landscape.
where you
For
change
landscape.
it.
But
For-
for architect, you do.
Site plan review regulation, there's this book in here, see, this whole, that's site plan review regulation. And this before the tab, that's all zoning ordinance.
That includes subdivision, right?
Subdivision regs is a totally different document, but that can
No,
also be amended
I think,
after a public hearing.
I think you might want to just look at that from. Both.
No, I was just gonna say,
Yeah.
ask a week and have
Just
her,
make sure that all
having them
documents
focus.
are-
All match.
Yeah.
But we have three documents that pertain to what the planning board can do. The most important one is the zoning ordinance, and there's site plan review regulation, and then there's subdivision plan.
Master
Regulate.
plan.
Huh?
Master plan, which
That's
doesn't,
just full-
Master plan
that's
is
just
supposed
not
to,
legal.
that's just our
Standing.
looking forward,
Yes,
how
that's-
we wanna do that, but it is something that we.
master plan document,
Yes.
that's this one back here.
Not
Is-
updated for 8 years.
Well, we probably won't leave it that long.
Hmm.
But the
Yeah.
point is that the master plan is supposed to dictate how we structure the zoning ordinances and the other regulations.
Yes.
It's supposed to start with the master plan.
Thing is, after last night's wastewater treatment plant, I'm selling anyway, so I'm gonna be here.
We're gonna flush you down, the first flush of the new wastewater treatment.
So are we creating a working group and who's on it?
Yeah, well, I think that I've been volunteered. So John and I are gonna start this.
Okay, sounds good.
It's your fault.
I distinctly remember you saying that.
I know.
We'll play the tape. Let's review the tape.
Let's go to the videotape. You remember that? Yeah, you gotta be old enough to do that.
But yeah, as I said, you can bring in other people. You have your core group, but you can bring in other people. You want to talk about architectural. Certainly want to talk to folks like Chief Noise. Which via zoning, the planning board has delegated the authority to make decisions on architectural issues. As well as he handles the building permit. You've given code enforcement that authority. It's in the zoning. You may want
Yeah.
to change that. You may want to bring it back to zoning.
Or,
Well, for example, the material used on the
Mhm.
outside. It says you have to use these materials, these are alternates, and it's up to the code enforcement officers to determine if the alternate will fit
Mhm.
the intent. You may want one,
that's for streamlining the process.
yes, but.
Because it
right.
just makes it a
course.
faster process rather than, okay, now we have to hold the public hearing, now we have to,
Right, but
Right.
the other,
whatever
the other
board it
side,
is.
the other side of that is
Select
you
board.
end up with. Green Peak, where people are complaining that it doesn't have the right material or look. That
So
was approved.
that would,
That decision to approve the siding was because of the way our zoning is written,
Yep.
was made by code enforcement, not the plan.
Well, the planning board wouldn't have any jurisdiction over single family or two family.
These are condos, right?
Oh, okay,
Three units.
okay,
It was a
so
commercial.
then,
We did it for streamlining, but
yeah.
right, but what I'm saying is the complaint we often hear. Is what John is saying, well, we've taken it out of our hands and given it the decision to code enforcement. which is the
Mhm.
select board slash our designee.
Someone just made a comment. It's not applicable to single-family residences.
Planning board.
Right.
Planning board doesn't oversee single family or two family dwellings.
So they could, as architecturally, do whatever they want.
No,
It's up to code enforcement.
Which is
I
in our
concur with
zoning
you.
ordinances, right?
One
What's that?
person's
They're
interpretation
gonna,
of something.
code
is not-
enforcement's gonna look at the zoning
Oh,
ordinances
yeah.
and say, does
They
this?
use the
apply?
zoning ordinance.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
kind of stuff you
Just doesn't have
guys will
to plan.
figure out.
yeah, and you're not looking at site plan, you're looking at potential subdivision and building permitting and all that stuff, right?
For the enforcement of,
For single family homes.
yeah,
They do not go through site plan
correct, no.
review. No. But they have to adhere to zoning and subdivision regulation.
Just planning board.
Now, is that state law?
Unless it predates the subdivision regulation.
Right, well, you always have that.
Okay,
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, no.
so you guys have your way forward, a place to start at least.
So, you
Hmm?
know, It's,
You signed up.
I mean,
So
it's all good.
You're
welcome
so
to the board.
subtle. I gotta learn that.
Me being settled.
Yeah, moving along.
Those go hand in hand with me.
All right, we want to talk about the roster. How many members are within term now?
So there are three who are coming up for reappointment or consideration for reappointment if they choose to ask for reappointment. There is alternate.
No, those are,
No, there are three.
Three.
There's John, Nancy, and who is the third one? Kathy, right? So there are two members in one alternate position that whose terms are expiring that are up for appointment. So Nancy has indicated to the select board that she unfortunately will not be asking for reappointment, so we'll have one alternate position open at this point. And it's up to Kathy and John whether they want to ask for reappointment. If they do,
I sent you emails and
you
we
just
had
have
that
to,
whole-
I haven't personally gone, but if you sent them, then
remember I showed you the email?
you did. Yeah, I just never, if Steve has probably gotten them, then it just.
Well, this was a while ago, so if you guys still don't have it, because remember the whole conversation, Kristen came back. And
Yeah, no, I
said-
remember it. I remember
Okay,
the
so do I need to
confusion.
send another email then?
No,
Because-
no, I think you've made it plain.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I'm good then,
far
to
as
be
I know.
considered.
Yeah, you
I
want
don't
us,
need
you
to
want
do
the
anything
select
else.
board to consider you,
Yes,
right? So that
okay.
leaves, we haven't heard from
John
John.
okay, I have something to say about officers and officers in the future, at least. There's something I want to say. I want to get it off my mind. And that is, what is a planning board? The planning board is the only civic body which has been given by state statute the power to vote yes or no on an application, a site plan review, or a subdivision plan. Now, what is the purpose of planning? The planning board is there to avoid kicking the town's problems down the road. The planning board is not there to say, let's see what happens in the future, and if the problem is as bad as some people fear, we can fix it later. The planning board is there to avoid the problems of the towns that the town has now. The planning board is the only body which stands between unrestricted development and the development that the town wants as expressed in its ordinances and in the master plan. Other than the planning board, there is no other guardrail or roadblock to unrestricted development, and this is the reason the state statutes has given the planning board the yes or no vote. The planning board has this authority, however, the vote is all that the planning board has to express the town's will. The folklore among planners is the planning board is the yes board and the select board is the no board. Historically, in almost every case, the Waterville Valley Planning Board has always voted yes. The planning board will always vote yes unless there is a clear violation of its ordinance. The state statutes protect the planning board's right to vote no while upholding its ordinances and its land use regulations. The planning board will always vote yes unless its members dig into the ordinances, read them again in order to understand what is there and why it's there, and then adopt the conviction to stand for them. This means that voting no when a no vote this means voting no when a no vote is called for. The only reason the application review process exists is to influence the planning board members to vote yes or no. That is to assist the planning board in assessing the facts which lead to a yes or no vote. However, the preponderance of influence is in favor of the yes vote. The experts that are brought in, the engineers, the counsel for the applicants are all there to help the planning board vote yes. Only the ordinances stand in the way of a yes vote. In my opinion, the application process puts the planning board at a disadvantage. The applicant may meet and confer with his advisors as often as he wishes out of the public view. He can strategize, plan his presentations with his advisors, construct rebuttals in private. The planning board cannot. Everything the planning board does has to be done in public with the camera recording everything that is said. The chair has no opportunity to address concerns with the board or to strategize outside of the public eye. Members are understandably reticent to speak up during meetings, during the public hearings, because we are all concerned about appearing foolish or uninformed. So most of the time, the members say nothing. And this is to the applicant's advantage. There is no neutral. Think back to the public hearings. With the exception of the planning board, which we make effort to always be neutral and unbiased, there is not one person in the meeting room or on YouTube who does not have a bias or an agenda concerning how they would like to see the vote go. There are no neutral positions, no unbiased, no impartial participants, no observers in the room or online. Everyone there has their own reason for being there. Every person has the need to stand for something. Standing for something means you have conviction of your beliefs and the courage to say so. Unless we have the desire to know and understand our own ordinances and then have the conviction to stand up for them, the planning board will always vote yes. There is a difference between being right and being effective. We've learned aspirational statements may be right in the town's point of view. However, we have learned that they are ineffective. The planning board must know what we have in the ordinance book before we can have any hope of upholding, and then take the next step, which is to have the conviction to stand up for them. The RSAs go as far as to say the planning board is obligated to uphold every ordinance as it is written, not as it is interpreted or how we would like it to be. And if we do that, upholding as written, where upholding means to vote no when the ordinance is violated or ignored, the statute says that the court will support the planning board's decision. If the planning board votes no on the strength of its ordinance, the planning board will have support. If the planning board ignores its own ordinances, we have dereliction of duty. There will be other applications that this board will evaluate. The next one may come sooner than we think or sooner than we would like. If we don't utilize the ordinances as written to protect the town's development future, no one else will. If the planning board is to fulfill the town's vision of development, the planning board must anticipate what ordinances will be needed in the future. The planning board has to present these new ordinances, ideas as zoning amendments through the warrant procedure for voting approval. If there is no ordinance in place when an unexpected application arrives, the planning board will always vote yes. The planning board does not have to accept or believe everything that the experts say or recommend. If you think that all experts are independent or unbiased, I implore you to think again. There is no unbiased participant in the hearing room. It is incumbent upon the planning board to carry a healthy skepticism, not cynicism, but when we are reviewing what the experts say. Our planning board needs to develop the habit of asking why. That is, the planning board must discover the reason behind a presentation, a proposed action, or demand. The acid test is learning why an expert was chosen or why an applicant is willing to risk a no vote to avoid providing what is in the ordinance. Knowing the why will lead to much better voting judgment. Money is the usual reason behind an applicant's actions or demands. During the 8 years I've been on the planning board, I have yet to meet a developer who is willing or enthusiastic about spending his money on road building, parking, landscaping, or architectural balance. Builders spend their money on what makes money for the development. For example, the history of road construction in Waterville Valley is a sad story of inadequacy and neglect. The examples are Lost Pass Road, Snows Mountain Road, High Country Road. They're all falling apart and are judged as unable to meet town specifications. And they were all approved by guess who? Today, I'm asking you to dig in deeper to learn your ordinances well and to investigate the RSAs to support the planning board while you're at it. Your job is to know the laws and then to uphold them as written to the fullest extent with conviction. When there is resistance and pushback, stand up for what you believe. If you believe a no vote is right, the right vote, in order to uphold the ordinance, feel confident that the support is behind you from the statutes. What's the bottom line? The bottom line is, well, while I have been chair, I have experienced some disappointment. During the review process, it's been evident to me that we have not always been on the same page with regard to the commitment that the board has with upholding its ordinances. So if you collectively do not agree with what I've been saying this morning, then I ask you to nominate another candidate and vote for somebody else to be chairman of this committee. Talk to me.
Yeah, I think everything you said is good. I know, like I've been making an effort to actually to do that reading in advance, and whatnot, but definitely we could all make more time to do it. So, yeah, I agree with it, and I agree with a lot of. I think I've said this to you personally. I think that how you started off the meetings through that last site plan was dead on. Terms of setting expectation, like we've never in my time, our time, had that kind of reminder, and I think that set a tone. And I heard the same thing from the public on it too. So yeah, I think
heard what from the public?
That they liked how you started it off, had control, and actually because those meetings without good facilitation could have been an absolute freak show. I mean. But I think it was that thing, and I think that taking the time out, set a tone going into this year. I think it's good leadership, and I think it's good to go. That's what I think.
Okay, well, it's taken a great deal to prepare for those public hearings, and I did pages of this stuff and all that background and reading ordinances. I mean, it beat the dirt out of me, and I don't want to do it again. If you people sit there and say nothing, you've got to be committed, and you've got to approach this with conviction.
So in the past, you've said public meetings are for the public to speak and for us not to ask questions. So
Well,
that's
I
where that
guess-
comes from. But
Okay, I had a lot of pushback I got that out of the ordinance.
yeah, I mean, it's fair.
Well, council didn't think so.
So I agree with everything you've said. But are there specifics? It's all well and good as general, but if there
Yeah.
are specific things other than learning the ordinances.
I could be very specific, but I'm not going to litigate the whole case. It's water under the bridge. It's done. It's gone. I have my own regrets. I should have at least cast a no vote.
That you
Like-
did against the parking
No, I was surprised overall, though.
What?
I was surprised
about,
by a yes vote.
I was,
To approve?
I was utterly
what did
exasperated.
we? What
Bill,
what did we,
yeah.
From Bill, I was surprised.
Yeah.
what ordinances do we have to say no? That was the soliloquy that we just heard.
Okay,
right?
let me just say that it was my mistake. I should have voted no. It would have been just a protest vote, nothing more than that. I was just fed up. I mean, how exasperated can I be? That exasperated. I'd had enough. I should have voted no. Yes, sir.
Just a point of order, I would, Liz can correct me here, but, while I would hesitate, I would strongly counsel that we don't talk about
Mhm.
previous application.
Yes.
It is still in the process because there are conditions that have to be met. Your final approval is dependent on those conditions being met, so the final approval, as far as I know, isn't there yet, right?
No, because there was conditions
Precedent, there were two, I think, conditions precedent, so I would not.
So it's not finished business.
It's not.
Okay, but that was my
finished.
comment. I'm not gonna answer your question
Thank you.
because it's water under the bridge. It's gone. Alan,
So I agree with what you're saying, but what I'm hearing is what can the board do going forward to affect the kind of town we want to have,
yes, and it is to understand,
Use regulations,
right?
site
It's-
plan.
But doing it
building ordinance.
proactively.
yeah, but the reason I did this was, one, I don't want to go through another one like we just had. That to me would be, you know, I'm like many of the people around this table, some of them anyway, retired.
That's just me.
No, like, I didn't say, I said some,
Yes.
you know, I admire that you're here and that you're working. But that, I don't want to go through that again. I don't want to try to like carry the ball. I want all of you participating and I want all of you knowing everything that's in this ordinance that's pertinent to whatever application is in front of us and making a conviction, you know, expressing your opinion and saying this is what is right for the town. And then doing it, you know, not just, oh, well, okay, you know. I need a strong participating board.
Right, and I think that like going forward too, when we have an agenda coming out, making sure that we're prepared for, that we have things to discuss and call, just even taking time for big decisions and calling out every single person and saying, what is your opinion on this? And letting that person have a minute or two to speak so that we're constantly getting a pulse of where we all are here. And it kind of, you know, I mean, you don't want to call people out, but in essence, you kind of are saying like, okay, what was your takeaway from reading whatever? Or what is the one, you know, the master plan action, giving us a little bit of homework too. Next meeting, this is an example, I'm not saying you have to do this, but I'd like at least one or two things that each board member is interested in seeing happen this year or whatever. And then as a compile, then we pick whatever, one or two or whatever as a board we want to go forward, but calling people out and give, you know, lack of a better word, kind of assigning a little bit of homework. Well, you know, but just,
Yeah, but I want a stronger participating board. And I say, well, look, my last statement here was, no, there are other capable people around the table. And if you don't like the attitude that I'm projecting, you know, elect somebody else. Somebody else can do this.
No, I think you've done a fantastic job.
Absolutely, you're
And to
very
quote
prepared.
Rob, the right guy for the right job.
yes.
I did say that.
Yeah.
I know, I don't like admitting this, but look, a year and a few months from now, I'm gonna be 80.
Yay!
Okay, I don't look 80, I don't sound 80, I don't act 80, but occasionally,
Well, I don't know about that.
yeah, that's right. I got words for you.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, look, you've been on display for the last couple of nights. Oh,
Really.
We appreciate all the work you put into this. You're prepared and you know, it is inspiring because, you know, I look to you, I think, for a lot of guidance and direction. And you deserve more support than I think
That's what I'm
maybe you've
asking for,
gotten in the
yeah.
past.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm saying definitely that there were times when I felt very much alone.
Mhm.
Which will happen, right? Like you said, there's nobody unbiased. You will have opinions that we don't necessarily agree with. I
Look,
think
nobody's
that's-
paying me to do this.
Right.
There were times when I would say that when I had, we don't like to talk about the past, but in past days, yeah, I could do that because that was my job.
Yeah.
This isn't my job. You
I
know?
mean, in a way it is, but yes, I get what you're
Well,
saying. You're
no.
not getting paid. There's no
Always have to be
compensation
He's
for
got
your
a full
time.
credit, yeah.
Oh,
Different
Yeah.
set of-
I'm very much concerned about my friend over there.
Why?
Why? Because you do too much.
Well, no, fine.
You carry an extraordinary load.
You are a good man.
Well,
Well,
I've
take it. Let's move
experienced,
on,
I've
please.
experienced some of it. And, well, in a way, I'm complaining about it, but at the same time, I'm saying that something has to be done. We can't carry on the way we've been doing it. It's just no good. And the more, look, you know very well, look at that thing over there. This is just the opening round. And unless we have some conviction, courage, guts.
And regulations to back it up.
Yes, what they do back it up.
Regulations.
You gotta read this crap to find out that it's there.
Yeah.
And the state ordinances were written in order to give the planning board the power to say yes or no. If we don't do it, it's worthless.
We're relinquishing.
Oh, no,
these
it's what's called,
Minimal standards.
it's what's called dereliction and duties. But the ordinances, if you wanna fall asleep, if you have trouble sleeping, I tell you, just read some of this. It'll put you out in no time.
I think, I just want to comment on one point here. Tara, when she left, made a point that as a board, she found us one of the weakest boards that she's ever dealt with. She didn't use the word weak, that's my interpretation.
Yeah, she said without courage.
That came through.
And I think that's what you're trying to get at.
I'm drilling at
That
this
we're
and, well, I said it
Much
in,
too accommodating or pliable.
look at the
But we
history.
have ordinances that we can, even if they're disagreements, that we should land on every time.
The ordinances are right
We're,
there.
we're not, it's not meant to be anything other than that, applying the ordinances.
That's it.
No matter who's in front of us.
No, and my first statements was that the planning board has power, but only in the defense of its ordinances. Otherwise, it doesn't have anything to say.
I remember somebody saying that too.
Yeah, yeah, okay, that's it.
Like, I can't, for me, and to quote my husband, the way my brain works, I can't deal with generalities. I think everybody here has learned that I am very direct. I need, like, what specifically have we done wrong? Like, that's what I need to go forward. I don't feel like we've done anything wrong. I don't feel like we're weak. I don't feel like we are only grounded in our ordinances. If we don't have the
But we
ordinance,
didn't
then we're
uphold,
considered weak. What ordinance did we miss? That's where I'm.
I'll talk to you later.
You gotta be very careful.
Yes, I'm not going there. I'm not
Yeah.
going there.
It's still, it's still.
But then this was all for nothing, in my opinion. If you can't give me direction in public, then what was this all for?
Well, that's
Can't
why
do
I
it.
tried to reach out, like, say, what are specifics going forward we can do, so you feel supported, so we feel supported, and I think that it's, again, coming prepared to
Okay,
meetings
what I did
and
was I tried to give
specifically
you
going-
some
right,
specifics.
yeah.
When the
Like-
specifics are,
like, get
read the ordinances, understand them, know what they
and
are.
call people
Have
out.
this,
What do you
have these
think about
ideas in your head before you come to the meeting.
I think that's a great idea is to call people to the carpet and say, okay, what are your thoughts
it? Mhm.
on X, Y, and Z?
Mhm.
And go around. the
We could
table.
have spot quizzes.
It's okay
You
to
on the
say
committee?
Like, I didn't get a chance to, I'm either,
I
I
didn't
had
get
a
a chance
chance
to
to get to
read
this
these,
because I have
yes.
5,000, that's okay to say too,
Yes.
like, we all have
Absolutely.
lives.
With
Like,
those
please,
notes.
Yeah, but-
and it's okay for us to disagree and not all vote the same way, that's all, it's all.
All it is, that's exactly what the board is for.
I think
That's-
So-
Bill
that's-
is just saying that knowledge is power. And if we come to these meetings when applicants arrive and we don't have that knowledge, we don't have the courage to stand up and say, hey, Rule 603
that's it.
4 is that. And that's all Bill is asking us.
Because what
He's
happens is
calling
that
us
when the
out.
applicant shows up, what do? They present. And all of the experts have already given,
Biased.
That's right. They're obviously biased, but they already know what they're going to say. They've already prepared all their information. The worst thing that happens to us is that it's presented to us, but we don't have time to confer amongst ourselves. We have to do everything, as Morgan says, in public. I can't gather you together at a time and say, what are we going to do about this? What are we going to do about that? There's an ordinance that says this, and I can't do any of that. I have to do it in public.
Why is that and how is that change?
Like to know, 91-A.
Yep.
Yeah,
Right,
I
but-
heard 91.
But even if we have, I know when the public hearing disperses and then we have the,
The non-public,
thank you.
meetings. Yep.
Why can't we discuss it and then make those notes public?
Because, Liz, do you want to do this or I can do it? I got it in here.
Do what he said.
The state law, gives you specific topics that you can go into non-publics for. It's for education, litigation, personnel, I think there's 4 or 5
Real estate.
criteria,
Yeah,
real estate.
discussing somebody's prison record, I think is funny.
Yeah, no, there's hiring.
I think there are a total of 12.
There
only a
very
few apply to us.
specific things.
Well,
Yeah.
there were 5 that I read.
Yeah,
There's A, B, C, D.
Well, the ones that apply to us.
yeah.
Yeah, okay,
So
so,
we can only go into non-publics for those specific reasons.
and that's the reason that I had talked to Liz. I said, I could have had this discussion in non-public, but none of it was specifically enough for the material that I wanted to discuss. Yeah. It has to be hiring, firing, reputation, real estate, legal, lawsuits, and there was maybe one other.
Bunch.
But a non-public session, RSA 91-A, column 3. The official part of the I hate aging. Meeting that is closed to the public. It is distinct from a non-meeting, which is a consultant with an attorney about legal matters, but it requires a formal motions, roll call, votes, and minutes. Now, do we want to go through that? No. And it has to be specific. You have to have a motion, you have to have a specific citation, you have to roll call vote, you have to have majority rule. You have to conduct inside the session with limited scope, finals, and as you talk about anything that you didn't define as being the reason for the non-public, then you are in violation of the law. You got to come out of non-public. You got to declare what you're doing. I'm not going to go there. Yeah.
You can't per se discussing an application. You
No,
can't.
no, you can't. No, not for discussing an application.
Or discuss your strategy about an application.
No,
Correct.
you can't,
Only
you can't do that.
procedural questions with a town attorney,
Right.
town council.
Well, that becomes more of a non-meeting then, potentially, right?
Yes,
As opposed to a non-public,
Yes.
sorry about this.
Yeah,
Non-public
but there's a distinction. There's the non-meeting, and that's only in discussion with council.
Mhm.
And that can
No
only be,
minutes need to be taken,
and that's supposed to be restricted to legal matters.
Exactly.
Well, sometimes non-meetings go elsewhere. Nevertheless,
I have something to say.
hello, Margaret.
Yeah, I'm listening to this discussion and, I haven't had a whole lot of experience except for the recent experience on going over an application. But I would have to say that we looked under every rock we could find to see if there was anything in the ordinance which was being violated by this application. And that we as a board did make some changes to the site plan, to other things. And when the applicant then responded, I don't sense that, because I wasn't involved in the vote, but I don't sense that we went into that vote with any unresolved issues with respect to our ordinances.
I hear you, Margaret, but my answer is no comment. Because
Okay.
we're not going to relitigate and we can't.
No, I wasn't asking to relitigate. I
not.
was talking about the process.
Okay,
And if the planning board members are doing their job, they are familiar with the ordinances. And there was a lot of discussion about various ordinances as we went through applications. And I think if any planning board member felt that the ordinance, there was an ordinance that was not addressed, they had an obligation to bring that up. And I don't feel that anybody brought up anything that we hadn't already discussed.
Okay, I respect your opinion.
Our next month's agenda, could we put something that's called new business?
Okay. Well, look, is there anybody around the table who wants to be chairman?
Nope.
Who you think should be chairman?
You,
One more year, Bill.
Chairperson.
One more year. Come on.
Okay,
3 more years.
Yeah.
yeah,
1 more term.
In term,
4 more years.
Yeah.
we'll get you a gavel.
Absolutely.
huh?
We'll
Oh,
get you
we
a
should
gavel.
I have a
Henry,
gavel.
but
It's in the bottom drawer of my dresser. I have a gavel.
Sledgehammer.
No, I've been in this position altogether too often in my life. Starting with, I was president of the student council in the high school. That's
Then
for
you're
which,
perfect for this job.
that's the gavel, and I still have that gavel.
amazing.
Don't
Enough already.
volunteer for anything.
Well, the formal,
Military.
the formal vote, you're a little bit ahead of things, Bill. The formal vote, can't occur until your first meeting after town meeting and the select board,
Good to
appoint
get it ahead.
the members,
No,
and
no,
then you discuss your offices.
My point was that if you want to nominate somebody else, you got a month to do it.
Understood.
Okay,
And it's the same with the other positions,
I'd like to remain.
secretary. I don't think anybody will. You're a very good secretary.
Thank
I proved that I can type, but I can't type like you. I don't know anybody who does this any faster.
My child. If we're moving on, I had a question from the select board, because I think you were gonna bring things up. Watching the last meeting, the regular select board meeting, you said you intended to bring 3 things to us. And I wrote it
it
down.
was the 2 amendments that we didn't comment on. The only things did I say 3? I'm trying to remember what the.
Yeah, I have that too.
So I watched it and I wrote it down and I quoted it. So,
Do you know what they were?
yeah,
See, you can count on Madam Secretary
I
to
didn't
do
read my
that.
select board notebook, so.
That's
I
okay.
forgot. I forgot to do that.
so any change of use will require a site plan review, and you and Wendy discussed that for.
Yes, thank you.
Yep.
Now I remember. Okay, so, I just needed that prompt to make it work inside. I think going forward, one of the lessons of all, the recent activity was that it didn't seem to the select board that we had a solid basis of what actually is required now for, parking on what we call the west side lot. No one's done an analysis of that. And we have that west side lot, and I think as part of the process, they're still looking at, they still have to show to town council that, talk very briefly about the applicant, that's not exclusive to town square. That's not what I'm talking about, that parking. I'm talking about the parking that west side parking that's related to town square, right? We have uses in there, we have a use table, that should all add up to X amount of parking spots. Nobody knows what that is. It's not an issue of shared parking, it's just that we have a table that says a restaurant must have this, a retail outlet must have this. That calculation needs to be made, so that going forward, when any issues of parking come up, and no doubt they will, at least the planning board would have what exactly of the 540 included the east area, but if you subtract those 70, whatever that number is, so you came up with what, 470, 460
Somewhere in
in there?
that range, yeah.
Right, so
Yeah.
as a board, we need to know how many are already allocated.
Which, yep, Bill and I had talked about, and I have, Chief Noise sent me all of the, certificates.
Current uses.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the current uses, and the amount of people allowed, so
Right.
now I just have to do the calculations
Great,
for.
great. That would help. That would have been
Yes.
a tremendous help, I think,
I am working on that.
recently.
You would have, yes,
Yeah.
So
Catherine,
what, when you're
Sounds like
doing
a
that, what internal capture percent are you using?
It's just whatever, there's none in the ordinance for that.
So I would suggest, and it can be conservative, I don't know what that number is or
10%
what that
or
percent should be.
15%, or-
Yeah, I couldn't say, but I do think that that's important because if someone's going to have lunch and they're going shopping, they're not, that's one, and that's,
Right.
So
And
I don't know what, I don't know
No,
what
no,
that
I'm
number
not, I
is,
absolutely
but
agree.
I'm
I think
just-
that's the next level. The
Yeah.
first level is just to say what is already accounted for.
Yep.
That's required by our table. It's a simple fact. This is what's required.
But shouldn't an internal what's
next step will
required
be-
should include that though, what's required, because that's.
No,
I-
an internal capture is an analytical metric.
But you're saying, and maybe I'm not
People that are
understanding
taking
this.
one parking spot that are utilizing.
Yes,
so
it's not- yes.
Then we
correct.
need to change, our table's very specific.
Right, I don't think it's right, I guess maybe
Well,
then what I'm
that, but,
saying.
okay, then that's something we
I mean,
can,
I
we
don't
can
know.
look at.
Which parking is definitely something that we need to.
We can look
talk
at
about.
that, but I think we should know what the baseline is. That's
Mm-hmm.
all, the select board is saying that we don't know what that baseline number is before we bring in things like shared parking or what you're calling it, or
Well, so I
internal
guess-
parking or any other characterizations, 1,000-foot line. We have no idea what is already accounted
Mhm.
for in the spots that are there.
Well,
to
so
apply
I
any of
guess,
these metrics
yeah,
to.
so I see what you're saying. So I guess my question would be is the term of baseline because. So I guess really though, what we're just doing is we're finding out what. If everybody were only coming to one establishment, what would that number need to be? But that's not really a baseline, but that's just, so we know a number, a starting point, and
That is
then.
Max.
That
For
would be
those.
right,
Yeah.
I guess,
Yeah.
with no internal capture, but I think that
Right.
needs to be really clear because I don't think that's a true,
Mhm.
that's not a true number. Like that number doesn't, mean anything.
but every parking analysis that we've ever looked at always starts with what is the maximum load? What is the maximum number of spots that are needed for everything that's gonna go on in this territory?
Right, I get that.
And where the water is muddied is by shared parking.
Right, but internal capture is a very easy, it's just a
Well,
quick
it's a
calculation.
discount factor.
Well, it's a
Right,
quick
but there's
calculation, and it could be 5%, like, I don't know, I'm, yes, I'm just saying, like, when you have that discussion, that needs to be. a part
But
of
then
it.
we have to be more specific in our zoning when we talk about that potentially, because right now, I mean, all I'm looking at is a use table.
Yep.
The last go around, it
Single
was
family,
24.8%
family Churches.
Was what?
discount
And
factor.
I think that's all we can land
The
on,
Internal cap, well,
Currently,
Yes,
right? So.
where did that come from?
Well, before-
But let's wait, we're
Okay.
cross
Thank
talking,
you.
sorry. Let's-
Okay. excuse,
Sorry.
I got in the way, yeah, and violate my own rules. But the numbers were, when we had this discussion, the numbers went from 161 to 120. And that's a 25.4% discount.
Yeah, okay, but again, without talking about that, I still think, I guess, I do have a disagreement with you, but I think it'll come out in the wash later on. Our table has required parking for uses,
Mhm.
full stop. We need to know what that number is. I would consider that a baseline, maybe it's semantics. But then from that point, you apply the metrics like shared parking or internal capture to see, as part of your analysis of a site plan that comes in front of you. But
which
Right.
we found with the last one, we don't have all of the
we
uses
don't,
listed.
we don't have the use list, so we don't know what's already accounted for. Just as a baseline level, and then you apply these
Right,
other
whatever
metrics.
they are. Rob,
No, I just want to agree, if you just think how different a process could be,
Mhm.
if we had that as a baseline on the park, and I think it's no brainer, I think it's great. I mean, even if it's not the optimal, it's something,
Mhm.
and then we can work towards
It's a number.
optimal. I think it's a great idea.
Right, then you go into flexible parking and shared parking and all of that. So if we go down this route, that would require, and this gets to upholding our regulations, that if there's a change of use in town square, that requires a site plan review. It may be a minor site plan review, but it requires a site plan review and approval of this board, and that's never been done
For Town Square,
for town square.
what
Yeah.
was Town Square's original approval?
We'll have to look at that. I don't know.
Okay,
Because if it requires a change of view, and this is again a question that the select board has. If there's a change, there could be a significant change in use
Mhm.
that would
The law.
completely change
Oh, yeah.
the parking. The parking numbers, if you would.
yeah. I mean,
Because of
it
our
could go
table.
From a bar to massage therapy,
Mhm.
and that drastically changes from 50 cars
Right.
50 parking spaces needed to
To-
2.
Too, right,
Yeah.
so I think we do need to check, and probably be difficult, but.
The
That's,
original.
but if we're gonna have a baseline, then unless there is something that does not allow. The planning board to look at a change of use
No, you got it.
within town square.
That would be within the original approval if they said your tenants wouldn't have to come forth
Right, we'll have to
or.
look that up, but
Yeah.
if that's not there, then if we wanna keep a handle on what parking.
Then what,
It would require coming in front of the planning board it's a change of use, that's one of the reasons you come for a site
Yep.
plan review. So
Yeah.
that needs to be investigated as well.
Where do you find that? Like, what documents is that?
Well, it would be in the approval of the,
Archives.
yeah,
Yeah.
it will be in the approval of town square, and that gets back to that easement that we're still trying to
1970 something?
understand. 84, 83.
82 or
Okay,
83.
Catherine?
It's can we, the second point though, kind of stand alone? Like, can we go ahead and pursue that anyway? Because it just intuitively makes sense that you would, I mean, but,
Yeah.
I mean, yes, we'll get the parking information and that's all good and well, but can we move forward then on something, am I making sense?
No, that would be my preference, but
Yeah.
I think Liz is saying, Bishop gotta be sure that
Yeah,
they weren't
Because
given an
it just makes
exception to
sense, like
that.
if you go from a bar to a boutique or something
Yeah.
like that, like that just,
Which, yes, you can legally
the other
do.
way around.
Any change of commercial use or
Right.
residential to commercial, planning board approvals needed.
Right,
But I don't know if in the original approval. Planning boards can also waive that and just say, okay, we're gonna have mixed use here and that's it,
Right.
you're good to go.
you don't have to come in for change of use.
Right.
I don't know, the select board
Yeah.
does not know the answer to
Okay,
that question,
yeah, so it.
so that needs to be investigated.
And then
Right.
would that be just a site, would that have to go before the town, like an ordinance for next year saying that we're requiring that? Or
No,
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 that
we
would
already
just
have
be
it
a
in,
site, right? If there was no,
That's already required. You,
It's already in
That's
the
state law.
ordinance.
change of use allows the planning board to say, hey,
okay,
we can spell it out in the site plan regs. And it might already be in there.
okay.
Right.
No,
I think it is. I think we went through the whole site plan review of what minor was. I think we changed that significantly, or we tightened it up over the last few years. Pretty sure of that.
It'd be interesting looking at Town Square, because for a period of time, Tom Corcoran was the chairman of the select board.
Yeah,
That's correct.
And if he wasn't, select board and
Right.
the Waterville company at the same time, that, so.
talk about
be-
control. Yeah.
Interesting research project, yeah.
Oh, yes,
Okay, so I think
Leave it at that,
what I
yeah.
hear is what you're talking about is a survey of town square.
yes,
The survey, everything that's in
Well,
there, and what the
sure.
nature of those businesses are, and therefore how they apply to the table to determine how much parking is needed.
is already required
Yeah.
before you get into the shared parking and internal, which will change those numbers.
And, right,
But you have to have that starting
Yeah.
point to what numbers
Have a model.
you're changing.
Yeah.
And then, if we do, unless there was an exception granted to Town Square, it should be treated like every other applicant. I can think of one applicant who came in front of the planning board for adding tubing, for adding an ice cream parlor, for
Yeah.
adding a pickleball court.
yes.
That's what I'm talking about. So
And we
it
were
should be
down
the-
that road and
Right,
the parking turned out to be a problem.
well, yes, that was for the tubing, it wasn't really thought out, I think, well, but. We did account for it, I tried to account for it like on the ice cream parlor and the the pickleball court.
Yes,
So it's just an equal treatment. So unless there's some kind of waiver
Right.
that was granted, then, and that way you stay up to date on that key issue, which is parking. In what we've been doing, with changes of use in town square, it's been looked at as a life safety issue, right?
Mhm.
In terms of, building permitting and
Yeah.
being up to code and whatever's being changed. So obviously the town looks at that, but then that's not parking.
Right.
not it. What I was trying to address, the first line of the statement is that if we're doing planning, we're not kicking this problem down the road. That is, we're not trying to say, well, we'll find out how well it works, and if it's
Right.
not, if it's as bad as some people say that it might be, then we'll fix it later.
No,
That
no,
is,
but
I don't want to see that
we
happen
don't want
again.
to see that, and unfortunately, I think we've gone down that road again, but nobody here, I think, wants to go through that whole parking exercise again. So again, this is select board looking at and trying to get moving forward from that in terms of a way to avoid these issues. If we can have more solid information, that would be beneficial and perhaps likely avoid some of the questions that were brought up and the dueling studies and all this kind of.
All right, so who's gonna do the survey of town square, excuse me?
I already have all of the uses and the max capacity. So what I'm working on, and I am pulling Nick in to it as well. I want to do the calculation based on the uses and how many parking spaces would be required currently at max capacity. Then I also want to check out and see how that balances with the ITE calculation of, it gives a percentage of people per car to see if the
That's
occupancy,
great.
yeah, if the occupancy rate is different than the use rate required. So
Right.
uses require this many.
Right.
However, their occupancy is this, and this is what we're really looking at. So the use could say, oh yeah, they need 5 spaces. But that use really brings in 30 to 40 people. And there's, 3 people per car, 2 people per car, you're looking at 10 spaces instead of 5 or 6.
So maybe we need to fix the table. That would be one thing to
Potentially,
look
yeah,
at.
yep,
Or it's something that we can incorporate into the flexible parking portion of our zoning ordinance about bringing in like this metric that you're
Yes,
mentioning.
yep.
As the planning board will look at this, when it talks about flexible parking, we'll look at these sorts of metrics to help them determine what's flexible,
right,
what
yeah.
works here.
Yeah, because most engineers, they use that Institute of Transportation Engineers, the parking manual,
Right?
and they list out, I don't even remember how many, I think there's 600 different land use codes. Or use codes, so like the amusement park, miniature golf, family fun centers,
Yeah.
they break every single
Maybe,
use out.
maybe we need to get away from a use table, the table we have to basing the parking requirement on that.
On what, yeah, and how many vehicles,
Yeah.
so,
That may be
Yeah,
better.
somebody else has already done all of this work,
Yeah,
we should
right.
use it.
Be much more accurate,
and
right?
that's what most engineering firms
Defensible.
tend to use.
Defensible.
Out of, I think I reached up to like 4 or 5 when we were trying to get a calculation, and 3 of them said the ITE parking. They were almost, okay,
So we should look at during the year, maybe
yeah,
discussing that based on what you count, that can launch a discussion and whether we want to actually change our use table
yes.
of number of spaces required to using this
Whatever this
particular
calculation. yeah.
calculation / metric. is
And
for
it
parking.
changes and they update it, they do it annually, however, the calculations seem to be the same since 2015.
Yeah.
But they update it.
Right, and then we
every
can just depend on our land use planner to keep us up to date of any major
year. Yeah. and
changes on it. So,
Mhm.
anyway, that was, thank you for reminding me. That was kind of a big thing I wanted to.
Thank you, Morgan, for getting us back to parking.
I had seen it on
Well,
the agenda, I was like, I better
Yeah,
tune in.
well, okay, we thought it was important.
What would be a meeting if we didn't talk about parking?
Yeah.
But look, it's always gonna be a problem, and it's in this town, every
Which is
town.
a lesson learned to try to
Well, the only time that you
preclude
ever,
some of the problems we had.
you see when land use becomes more critical is the only time that you see things appear on site plans such as multi-story parking garages. nobody spends money on a parking garage unless there's a serious problem that needs to be solved.
Which begets the difficulty I think we've had with certain applications,
Yes.
that there's the potential that if we, or it was decided that there were inadequate spaces, there was other lands which they could just pave over.
Yep.
In this situation, a lot of times when, I'll go back to Long Island, there's no other space, so the town's kind of got you by the,
Go up.
and
there you go.
you know what, if you don't have the space, you're not getting the permit or the C of O. Here, the issue is, okay, I don't have space, I'll bulldoze more trees and make the space. And it'll be less aesthetically pleasing for the town.
There are property rights.
Yeah, okay, Rob?
Correct.
I want to volunteer to give my first committee report.
Yeah.
I want to give my committee
A
report.
committee report?
Yeah, can I do that?
What's your committee?
CIP.
Oh.
I'm trying to move us down the agenda
Yeah.
subliminally.
Right. Well, no, I'm done. I mean,
Okay, I
definitely-
always depend on Rob for
That was my
mine.
select board report.
Okay, we talked about this enough and it is 20 minutes to noon. I know, it's not
Thank you.
irrelevant.
Thank you.
Thank
You gotta do the zoning amendment.
We can't do White Mountain National Forest and we've did it. Okay, Rob wants to do his report, so let Rob do it.
CIP committee is going to get together after the town meeting, and then we're going to start the process of developing a new process. That's our update.
Talking about April-ish, you think?
Actually, we can shoot for March. It's going to
Shoot for
depend on
March.
schedules.
Okay.
But I do think we need to get on it because just kind of the draft that I put together was starting things in June. So we want to get on it, and we have some good examples from other towns to work from. So
How
Where
does?
was where was the rebuild this building on our CIP now?
It's the study,
it's just in the second half of a study, which the
Is that what we're voting to fund?
Yeah.
Is the second?
It'll be on.
second half of the
Yes,
study.
you're talking about the space needs
Yes.
studies. Yes, so the
Chief Noyes spoke to it.
new town,
Right, so.
the new town hall / DPS facility, I think is scheduled for 2028.
Eight, I think.
Eight.
And
Yeah.
on the CIP, now those not, so
So
to
that's why it
prepare
was
for that
included
vote.
in the big bond thing.
Well, last year, the town voted to spend money on a space needs
Right,
assessment. And we completed, the select board, Chief Noyes carried the water on this. We interviewed firms, we selected a firm and went through the bidding process. And the one firm we selected is going to require another $75,000 to complete the study. So that's what the warrant article is about.
but I'm at the next step, which is the financial guy yesterday was talking about a $28 million building or something.
No, if
To
that's,
include in the bond.
it's not a 28, I think, what the financial consultants were saying was that all the CIP items that you have between now and 2031 add up to $28 million. 10 million of that is this one new building.
And
There's 18 million
I
in
missed
other.
that- I missed that part. of it.
I'll just add to it too. So the part of the study that was funded and completed
Right,
for here was current state. What do you have? What do you need?
right.
And this year, and that's why you really have to go on to that next step of the study before you can have any tangible, true number. And, and then you
Right.
fit it in time and bonding
options.
and all that.
And-
So
and
that's where that is.
Yeah,
Will they present at town hall meeting, their first phase of this?
they're not gonna present it, but we will talk about it. I mean, Chief Noyes will talk about it. You mean the consultant?
Yeah,
Not the
because it was like,
consultant.
isn't it like in phases, like there was phase one and then this is now funding phase two.
It's funding phase, and Chief Noyes
But
will talk.
phase one-
two.
Yeah,
What they
All right, we'll
came up
talk
with.
about what happened in phase one, but
did they-
yeah, phase one was just collecting the data to get the ground truth. Phase two is gonna be, okay, what options does the town have based on what we uncovered in phase one?
So we'll
Is
wait
it
to see what they
renovating this
uncover.
building?
He'll talk
Is
about
it building a new building someplace else?
Mhm.
Where else? You know, do we wait until the lagoons are decommissioned? So we're talking mid-2030s.
Mhm.
How big a building should it be? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So that's what phase two
Yeah,
is going.
And
And that
did
is
that
also-
also include to the Veterans Memorial?
No,
No, okay.
it does
That's
not.
separate.
We've dropped that for this year because we just have so much to try to get through.
Yeah, and remember, we were able to pass that off to the select board
Mhm.
Yeah.
and not worry about. And the other thing too is that since you got on the topic is Chief Noyes. He's also like in this go forward, it's like, okay, here's what you have to do to make it 3 to 5 more years. And if you're gonna go beyond this, these are the other things that you have to do. Heating, heating adjustment, just
Yeah.
holdover or whatever, yeah.
And I just want to add that when Chief Noyes presented this to us, he said this is the third time we have reached this point.
Yes,
And in the past 2 times, the town voted no, which means we wasted the original phase 1 money because we
Right.
didn't go to phase 2.
right.
And his quote, "Doing nothing is no longer an option for this building." Like,
Remind him of that one. That's it. No, he said that. He said that several times, yes.
We heard it last night.
In public, so, yeah, that's what that is on the CIP. There was a CIP item, I don't know if we're gonna talk about it,
Which one?
the Conservation Commission sediment.
Um,
Remediation project,
no, I wasn't gonna talk about it because we passed that off.
right, I was gonna give you an update on it.
Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah, fine.
So the select board, well, generally speaking, the select board reviewed all the CIP and generally, I think went along, we changed some numbers.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember what we added, I think we decided to add the admin vehicle for DPS this year. I think you had it as a low or a medium priority perhaps.
Yeah, I think we had medium.
Medium priority, but generally it was within the guidance, the recommendations that the planning board made to the select board on CIP. We had, based on that approach, we had initially not included the 55,000 or the 50,000 at the time, $50,000 Conservation Commission silt remediation project in Snows Brook. As I had mentioned, one reason was it was considered a low priority by the Conservation Commission, by the CIP. And remember, the Conservation Commission is not a select board entity. It's like the planning board. It's exists because of RSA, state law. They have their own powers and such like. So, the Conservation Commission came back to the select board a couple times and we changed our mind. And we are gonna put a warrant article for $55,000 for them to, it's a separate warrant article for the town to decide whether or not they want to fund this project. Our real hesitancy initially for funding it was that we're going back, not to the beginning, but we're re-looking at the original, the Cochrane Pond dredging study, which originally came in at $2 million. And then we asked the engineers to look at beyond dredging, like how do we avoid having to dredge this 10 years from now when all this is potentially going to be built out and there's no way to store the material that comes out of the pond, which means we'll have to truck it out wet, which means it'd be exorbitantly expensive to do it that way. And so they built a silt retention pond, for lack of sediment retention basin within the pond, which added another $2 million to the project. So what that dredging project went to something like $4.2 million from, I think last time it was down with 600,000 or something in 2009, 750 in 2009, I believe it was. And then Irene hit in 2011 and that kind of accelerated everything. And anyway, the long and short of it is we put a pause on that. We were supposed to go forward last year with a warrant article on Cochrane Pond dredging. We said, no, we need to relook at this. We decided not to put it on this year because we wanted to sit down with the engineers to talk about dredging, if there are other methods, we can employ. They gave us options. We selected one option, but we wanted to talk about the silt remediation. And just let me just finish this point. The reason we didn't want to go forward with the Conservation Commission, silt remediation project, Snow's Brook, which feeds into Corcoran Pond, is because we were no longer sure that they connected. Like what we were going to relook at for silt remediation within Corcoran Pond, was that still connected with that? Is it make sense to spend this $50,000 on the Snow's Brook remediation? If we're re-looking at the whole silt remediation issue with the engineers, Horizons on Cochrane Pond. So that was really where we landed. Let's put this off another year until we have a better handle and agreement with where we want to go forward, Cochrane Pond dredging / silt remediation. We reversed our decision. We were convinced from their presentation. I would ask anyone here to look at it. It was very well done. That it's worthwhile to go ahead with this project.
I'd just like to clarify, the CIP only had it, it wasn't that we felt it was a low priority. I think it was because of the whole miscommunication of what our purview
and we'll
was
check.
to weigh in on that project.
Yeah.
So
Right.
that's why we originally felt it
Right.
was medium to even at some conversations a high, because
Right.
again, a whole conversation, if you don't want to, they've already spent so much money on it. It was already approved by the town and it was, the money was lapsing. That's why it had to
And the
go. So
money
I
was
did want to
lapsing, so it had to
clarify
come
that it
back.
wasn't
Right.
in my,
That's
felt-
right.
please
The
correct
town
me.
had
if
approved
I'm
it.
Exactly, yeah.
I did not feel it was a low
Everything that
priority.
fell
So
through.
I think that was
last
low
year.
priority.
For them to continue this
Very
year,
you know.
you know, the money basically lapsed in the fund balance. It had been, this project had been approved by the town. But legally, the money had lapsed in the fund balance, so the select board felt that we needed to go back to the town and request the money to be spent again.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we can clarify. I mean, I don't think we see projects offering from the Conservation Commission. So whether it needs to go through the CIP, makes sense to me, but I don't know. We can double check that for future when you guys. That's one of the questions
Yeah.
you can bring to us. As to what your remit is, like, who are we looking at?
Well, I think we landed on that we would be a kind of a caretaker of that, but I mean, again, I don't know, maybe they do come through us now, and we can talk about it later. We were
Yeah.
gonna keep it on because we
But
were
that's when you
keeping it,
get,
but
figure
we-
it out.
And one thing too, yeah, some of the problem was that caretaking function and the spreadsheet, the numbers, which. When you talk about planning board ordinances, well, CIP committee, really at the end of the day, it's just about that spreadsheet. And the purview and the spreadsheet have to match. And I think because the town was run. You know, the way it was run, I'm in a lot of ways very effectively, but some stuff just kind of in these gray holes.
Right.
And yeah, that's what we want to get rid of in
No,
process.
Select board
To
is
your
very
point.
happy that you guys are gonna take a more focused view. It was very personalized in the past, the CIP process.
Yeah.
So taking a more focused, bureaucratic, if I can use that word, view.
Yeah.
So that
I
the process.
I remember.
The process and procedures are what governs things and not people.
Yeah.
Right. And so we need to check who you really who's on the CIP. We
Then
like that.
that leads into my question. How is it determined who's on the CIP? Just volunteers? Because that's what we've done.
Well, that's a planning board
Planning board.
working group or a committee, subcommittee, and it's up to the planning board to decide who's on the CIP, and they report to the planning board. And it's the planning board that actually makes the recommendation to the select board at the end of the day.
Yeah, we'll get to
Anyone
it.
can be on it.
Okay.
If a random resident.
Yeah, you can bring in
volunteer.
anybody, but it's a I would say you probably want 3 planning board members.
Mhm.
And then you can bring in anyone else you want. You bring in town staff, right? To talk about their issues.
Could you bring in the person that pops into my mind is Stan Picos, who's always got the financial view. He's a,
Yeah,
A
you can bring anyone into the committee as long as the rest of the planning board is okay with it. I mean, as a sitting member. As far as I know, you can, yeah. So it's strictly within the power of the planning board.
So, Bill, I violated my own policy and extended the meeting a little bit. Sorry.
No, I would say to you,
Hypocrite.
Rob, let's move on.
Well, we just need to get through it. I mean, gotta get through it.
Well, we don't have reports from anybody else. Except, well, how about the select board? What does the select board have to tell us? You've already told us
Yeah.
a
And I
considerable
hope
amount.
nobody reminds you of anything else I forgot.
just you guys briefly talked about the town manager and at the last meeting.
Oh, yeah, if
And
you'd
that
like
was
an
it.
update, yeah, the candidates are down to, I think, 4 to 6. And they're being interviewed by the committee we formed. And out of that process, hopefully sometime in mid-March, maybe late March, I don't know if Margaret is still here.
Yeah.
She's the chair of
I
that.
am.
Go ahead, Margaret, would you like to take this
Yeah,
question?
so it's either 6 or 7 from the original 12 that we screened. And when I say we, this is Alex and I. Did short interviews, 25-minute interviews with about 12 people. And 6 or 7 of them are going to be interviewed. I know there are 3 on Friday, and there are a couple scheduled for next week. And some people haven't scheduled in yet. But we're anticipating that we're going to get together as a committee on the 27th of February to discuss all of the candidates that we've seen and who we think we should refer on to the select board for live interviews.
And then so in March, we will be scheduling those and interviewing people and hopefully selecting a person. And then it's a matter of when they're available, negotiating the contract. That's the town manager is a contract situation between the select board and the person who's the town manager.
Are they, as part of this process, will they be required to view or be at the town meeting so they know really what they're getting into?
The select board hadn't discussed that. Margaret, did you want
It's a good
to
idea.
comment on that?
Well, I think it would be a very smart thing for anybody that's up for a second interview to do. We can't make them come, but certainly it might be a good thing for them to do if they want to strengthen their knowledge of Waterville Valley and the current issues.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, like, I imagine some of them are still in positions that they wouldn't be able to attend or whatever, but so.
Yeah, maybe they'll listen to it
That's all
after
good
the
info.
fact, but yeah, they may run away, but.
We are active.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's not the little town at the end of the road.
thank you, Margaret.
Mhm.
Calendar review.
We are finished with the reviews. There's no correspondence to talk about. Calendar is the next planning board meeting is March 12, following a town meeting on March 10.
And
What-
the topics you think ahead of time, I think we didn't do the master plan, I think we still need to look at that.
We do, but
And you need to elect your officers.
Mhm.
And you need to do a hot wash on whatever was voted in or out among zoning amendments.
yes,
Yes.
the usual topics are the zoning and, well, the outcome of the plan of the
That's the
town
number one
meeting
topic.
and the election of the officers.
Well, and can we have, as the years gone by, we've kind of put off to the side, like, we want to revisit this next year. Can we have, and I know you were keeping maybe a list of things, today we talked about tiny homes, we talked about, what is, can we kind of maybe have a review of that, of kind of what else is floating out there on our kind of a workload for the year?
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah, that's usually what happens when you start digging into the master plan, action plan.
Yeah.
But
hopefully
I'm
we
all in
start it.
favor of that. If it's already on the list, let's talk about it first.
Mhm.
Do I hear a motion?
I move to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
I
No objections? We will adjourn the meeting. Who would object?
Actually cutting us through a lot there.
Well,
Good.
Disney. Disney.
Along with that, you gotta get those zoning explanations. Go down.
You mentioned road.
Are we
I
still-
understand
still on?
that. No, we're off.
Nobody's turned off the screen.
We have to,
Understand is
is
that
this
the select-
machine turned off?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
could you turn this off, for anyone who gets? You don't wanna be saying.
Right.
it.